Loading.
No,
Here
no,
we
no.
go. This is it. This is another episode of Neanderthal Podcast. I am so thrilled to have my guest, Bet on Drew. Drew, my man, thank you so much. We were talking before the start. Here he is. I can't tell you guys how much this podcast means to me that he's coming on and taking the time to be here with me.
Hey, buddy. Thanks for having me. This is fun. This is exciting.
This is a lot of people that are going to watch this podcast or listen to it. You can watch it on YouTube. You can get this episode on all your podcast apps. I think we're going to have a lot of your fans on here.
I think
Um,
so, for
and
sure.
but we're also going to have a lot of the people. Like I have a very interesting group of people that watch my podcast. It's since I've had so many different topics, I've had a CBD expert on, I've had a flat earther on, I had another Twitch guy, TSB, who you know.
Yep.
I've had a bow hunter on. Just I have had a I've had all kinds of people, so I've got a different audience than you might have.
That's cool.
So I just kind of want to get some of the basic stuff out of the way, kind of introduce you, let you kind of explain who you are. I don't know. I'm excited about this. I want people to know who you are because you're an awesome person.
Thanks.
So this is Drew. He is a Are you a professional poker player?
Man, I don't know. That's if you asked me that question a year ago, I might have said yes. 6 months ago, I would maybe say no. And now I would definitely say no.
Okay. Were you a professional? So you were a professional poker
Yes.
player
Yeah. Yeah.
for how long?
For 8 years. 8, 9. No, yeah, 8 years it was.
How old are you?
34.
You look so much younger.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, you really
All
take care of
right.
yourself.
Let me sit over my chair.
It must be all that Chinese food's keeping you young
I-
looking.
I'm telling you, there's something to it. There's something to it.
So 8 years, you're 34. Okay. How did you 8 years ago? When was Black Friday? How many years ago was Black Friday?
It was let me
About
see.
8 years ago?
Yeah, yeah, roughly. And actually I think it was
7-ish?
6 years ago. I think it
Okay.
was. Yeah,
So
because I was in like 2 years into my 2, 3 years into mine when Black Friday happened.
okay, how did you begin your poker career?
Like the actual what I consider the actual start of it was uh the summer of 2010 when I decided to quit my job as a healthcare recruiter for a home healthcare agency. The name was Maxim Healthcare. And man, I'm telling you, I just like working jobs between high school and college. Like I don't know how else to say it except like I just really disliked working for people, especially when like I just wanted more and you just kind of get to that point where you feel like you hit a ceiling all the time. And I don't know. Like I just was like, okay, I'm gonna do this poker thing, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes to not have to work for anyone again, right?
At what point were you like, I'm good enough? Like, did you say, I am good enough, I can do this? Or was it, I'm smart enough, I'm going to learn how to do it and how to make this work?
My approach and my like commitment was a little different. It was more so I like had tried to do it full time. I had like not had a job, and I was like, oh, me and my buddy were like, oh, I'm gonna play online poker, and everything's gonna be fine. And it wasn't. We would do nothing. We would play after poker. We would play video games all night, never study. Get up the next day and be like, okay, today's the day I'm gonna run good. It was so sad, but so that was my first attempt, and it didn't work out.
This was
So
all online, right?
all online. Yep.
Poker
And
Stars or something?
it was actually Bodog.
I loved Bodog. I loved
First
Bodog.
time. Yep, yep. That was
Yeah.
exciting. Really
Yep.
good feelings over that one. Uh, but I actually like 8 years ago, it wasn't more so like I'm gonna do this to make it. It was more so I took the mindset of I need to know if this can happen, and I'm gonna leave it all on the floor this time so that I have no regrets. That way, if it's not meant to be, I was like at the time I have no kids, I'm not married, I have nothing to lose. And the only thing that I was leaving out on the table was the thought of would I have made it? Do you get what I'm saying? And that
Right.
was all that drove me and motivated me.
What kind of bankroll did you start with? Like, were you like a few $100s, or did you like, I mean, what was your starting bankroll? Like to say, okay, I'm going to actually chase this dream. Like, what do you start with? How much money?
I had a 5K in my role at the time, and I had maybe like 2, 3K real life money.
Okay.
And at the time, my girlfriend at the time was when I had made this decision, like that's how much money. And she was actually away on training. She didn't have a job for a minute, and she just got a job, right? So I was like, mm, okay,
Yeah.
maybe there's a little bit of security there. And I was like really confident in myself at the time. And honestly, I was just so driven by the thought of not having regret over knowing that I gave it my everything to
Did you
know.
have like some good scores and like that was giving you the confidence to do this? I mean, you didn't just say, "Hey, I've got 5 grand. I'm going to be a poker player." Like something said, "Hey," I mean, I imagine you had some good scores or something that said, "I think I can do this." Like,
Hmm. I was having, like, it wasn't uncommon on the carbon poker streets those days. If you were playing like the $82 rebuy or the $33 rebuy, the schedule was much different. It had rebuys and it had some regs. It was like wasn't too hard to like get like a 2K score. You know what I mean at times. So I had that confidence that I was going to be able to just continue to be profitable.
okay.
And like I said, I just I had a $2,500 score or something. It was like 2.5K, like 2 nights before. And work had kind of like started to push me to a point of like, that point where you're just like not into it anymore, like in a job, like we all do, right? Everyone
Yeah, yeah, everybody. Yeah,
like that,
absolutely.
that point leading up to it. And then I had this score. So I had like extra money. I was thinking about it. And then I went into work the one day and just, that one thing we need to happen happened. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
like, that's it. You know what I mean? I'm all in, like, see ya. And then I just had the score a couple nights ago. So that was like a little bit of cushion, kind of
Right.
just enough to be like, I'm just done with this. I'm not happy.
That's awesome. That's amazing. So, after that first leap, like you quit, you just said, "Hey, boss, I quit," or "Here's my 2 weeks." What did you do?
No, honestly, I was just past the point of 2 weeks, right? So, and they kind of knew it. It was, so that was it. I just called. I spoke to, so the one main store manager, branch manager wasn't there because he wasn't a lot. And so, I told the second in charge, hey, I'm not that, typed up an email and just said my thoughts. And
And
that
dipped
was
out. That was it. The beginning of a beautiful, beautiful journey,
it. I know, right?
right? Okay, so you did that. And then the realization hits, oh my gosh, I don't have this job to fall back on. It's time to grind. It's time to actually do this. And this was before you were streaming. This was just you in front of a computer all by yourself, I assume. Like you, a kid in a dream, right?
That's it. That's all it was. No HUD, no poker circle, nothing. Just me and the computer and a girlfriend and a puppy.
What was that like after like maybe the first couple actually as soon as it was like, oh my gosh, this is real. Like the first time you realized, oh my gosh, I don't have the security blanket to fall back on this job. This is it. This really it. I really have to do this. I'm ready to go. When that realization actually hit, because I'm sure you had that moment, like holy crap, I'm making a run at being a professional poker player. Like, what was that like? Was it scary? Like, did can you remember? Does that time come back to you? And you have any like? Can you speak on that at all?
I felt like confidence is huge. You know what I mean? Like I had gotten lucky enough to have a a lot of confidence, and I tried not to think about it because for a little bit, so I was working my job and I was very steadily every month getting a check from Carbon Poker for like 200-300 bucks. you know, like just
From
playing.
playing or from like rake back or what?
No, just from playing. Like I would go to
Wow.
work, I would come home, and then I would grind and I would play. The toughest thing for me before I started to make money consistently was being spewy. You know what I mean? Like really
Absolutely.
just like actually kind of playing tight and then kind of late game seizing the moment in some situations. Like that was my go-to strategy. And I think it takes a lot of patience, right? To
Right.
do
Yeah.
that. But so I was confident that if I was patient and just that I would at least make 200-300 bucks a month. You see what I mean? Which wouldn't be enough to pay bills, but
Two or $300 a month. That was like your
that was only confidence. That was I had 200-300 bucks of confidence. That was it.
Woo.
But when it's so like I honestly all I can say is I got lucky because I think that's a big part of poker is sometimes like you sometimes just really have to get lucky sometimes for like something like this to play out for me to make it 8 years in this business. And the very first year was consistently good that I really didn't get approached with that thought until the end of the year. Um, when I went on like my very first big downswing, which was like 3K,
Ooh.
that's when I actually had that first moment. But for the whole year, it felt like it never hit me, you know, because it was always good. But then I went on my first downswing as a full time committed player who's consistently going. And that's when I thought about it then. I immediately just like I still had money in my roll. I had 2K, which at that time I had a gauge of like where I knew my bankroll was at, and I knew like I'd be all right. But I immediately like went knit mode with my bankroll, and that was the moment where I was like, I need help, and I reached out for coaching.
Nice.
So that was my response to getting scared. I think now walking through it is I reached out for help.
Where did you get your help?
I found and it was crazy when I first found out that there was poker coaching. I was like, what? It was so weird. I was like, oh, this is neat. And so I ended up on a website. It was teammoshman.com. Do you know who Colin Moshman is?
Nope.
He wrote a couple of books. They're in Barnes and Noble. They're 2+2 publications
I
about
know
sit and
that.
goes.
I was a big Dan Harrington on Hold'em. I
Mhm.
bought both of his books. I was a big fan of that was a 2+2 publication.
Yep, yep. So he was in there. He wrote a couple of sit and go books, and when ACR actually released the Sit and Go 2.0, him and his wife wrote a little strategy book, and they
Oh,
kind
that's right. I remember that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it was his website that I stumbled on, and I reached out for coaching, and I was like, hey, you know, I need help XYZ. Here's my information, and this is really funny. They responded to me that we don't know if we can help you, but would you like to be a coach for us? When I reached
Oh,
out for
really?
when I reached out for coaching, that's what they told me.
How did they know about you? How did they come up with that assumption of you?
My shark scope from Carbon Poker.
Okay, so SharkScope is a website that kind of tells, get if you type in somebody's screen name from a poker site, it brings up what their kind of statistics are, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Just for the non-poker. I know sometimes when you talk poker to people, it's a lot of inside baseball. Some people don't fully understand, so I try to kind of,
It makes sense. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. So on the shark scope, then basically what they had caught was it'll show you a line graph, you know, like depending on, you know, over time here, and then your graph, you know, ideally you want it to keep going up like this. And
Correct.
mine had some, you know, nice ticks and it went up. So they probably that's kind of the only thing because I hadn't played poker long up to that point, so it was solely based on that at the time. And they maybe needed a coach, and they're like, "Oh, what? Let's see what he says."
It's nice. So instead of getting coached, you started coaching them? Is that what happened?
Yeah, but it kind of functioned the same in a sense because I knew I needed help. I just didn't know how to get help, so I reached out to somebody. But then through like when they asked me, and I was like, "Okay, like what do I get?" They told me. But through that, I was like, wow, if I'm going to coach people, I need to work and figure it out myself now. and it forced me to start like reading strategy on the internet, like reading all these articles, finding forums, watching videos, anything I could get my hand on. I was like, I don't want to like feel bad because I'm not studied or rehearsed for a student and then they pay me money and I give them nothing. Like that stressed me out. So I did something about it.
Was this so the coaching that you started, well, first of all, they do say a really good way to learn is to actually coach. If you already know something and you're teaching something that has no idea how to do whatever subject you're teaching, they say that's a wonderful way to learn, to try and learn, is because you just think about it different and you're getting the input of a brand new person, then you're trying to rework something to teach. I don't know. It makes sense to me to how that would help you out as a coach to learn as well. Does that make
100%.
sense? Does that make sense?
100%. I totally agree. And I would have said the same thing. I've actually, One Dull Geek, I've told him that he should do coaching because it'll force him into a different point of view, like it did me. And I've encouraged him to do it. I think he's gotten close, but I don't think he's done it yet. But I totally agree with you. I think it's a great way to force yourself out of your comfort zone.
One Dull Geek is I've been watching him grow. I was there from the very beginning. He's a poker streamer as well. And yeah, I've been watching him since the beginning, and it's amazing to see how far he's come along since when he's first started, both as a streamer and as a player.
Mhm.
So One Dull Geek, if you are out there listening or watching this, and you want to try your hand at coaching, hit me up, baby. I'm delivering pizzas as my second job right now. I'd gladly throw that aside to make a couple extra bucks on the ACR. One Dull Geek, hit me up, bro.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Um, so do you remember like when you first started coaching, like what kind of level person was coming to you? Was it the guy like playing $1 and $2 tournaments or the $100 tournaments? Like who was first coming to you? Like how did that? Because to me, it seems like this is really the kind of when you first started doing this, this was kind of like, I don't know, the early days of all this, right? Like, was there much coaching around before that? Like,
That it was still, I feel like, pretty new at that
right,
point.
kind of in its infancy. Now there's all kinds of sites and Twitch and all kinds of new stuff. But
Mhm.
so you were kind of in the infancy of it. That's pretty cool. What was like the early days like? Who was coming to you and how were they finding out about you? And
So through the website, the teammoshman.com, people would, they advertise, their business and everything. And they would, the coaching I was on, I would get X amount of their profits, right?
okay,
For whatever, I coaching, like I would be assigned a student and given time or however they paid for it. But it would be percent of profit coaching.
okay,
So that's how it started. And so they would get traffic and then they would delegate. And my very first student was a guy from Denmark or Slovakia, something like that. And
something like that's quite the difference. I'm no geography major.
I'm terrible with it. I'm terrible with it. It was some European country that was smaller, right?
Right.
And there was a language barrier. I was
I
like,
would imagine so.
I was like, it would figure my very first session where I'm already uncomfortable because I wanted coaching. Do you know what I mean? And then now
Yeah.
here I am, and there's a language barrier, and it actually played in my favor, I think, because I wasn't ready. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was my very first one. I could feel even in our conversation, even though there was a barrier, like I didn't know how to communicate my thoughts to him. So it was
Right.
kind of like nice for me in a certain sense because the language barrier was there. So it wasn't like I looked like a complete idiot, I
Yeah, if
guess.
it was like an American or a Canadian, that guy would be like, "This guy does not know how to articulate anything. What is
Hmm.
going on here? This guy's obviously new."
Yeah, exactly.
So, how did your first student like? Did you have like Did you have like an emotional investment? Like, this is my first student. I like. Have you followed? Like, did you follow his career for a little bit after that to kind of see if
For
it
sure.
helped?
Yeah, I definitely did, and we were in touch, and he is a winning player. He's a winning player, and
Today,
he
still?
I haven't heard from him in a little while, but I actually have heard from him like years down the line,
Nice.
right? And he's like, we're very like positive energy, how you been and stuff like that, and little talk. And I actually think I've seen him on ACR too. You know, he's into the online grind and stuff, and he's a good player and he's solid. But I feel like as far as the value he got from me, I feel like it was not as much as I could have given, but I think he did a lot with it. So that's exciting.
Well, the guy that were coming to you for coaching in the beginning, what kind of players, like what kind of level players were like, what kind of tournaments or games were they playing typically?
They were playing mid to low stakes.
Okay.
Mid to low stakes being
Five
like
to ten dollar or something, or
yeah, 50, below $20.
okay, per
Yeah,
tournament. Yeah.
yeah, below $20. Guys that could kind of afford it, and guys that are like looking to get to that next level. I think it's kind of common for a lot of us, you know, to be sub 20 big blind, especially online with all the tournaments.
Right.
So it was a very common place. I felt like buy-in.
So you're coaching, so that's helping you through your downswing. And then I imagine obviously the downswing turned itself back around up to an upswing.
Hmm.
Um, and then you just continually I know you've worked for a couple different coaching sites. So what happened after that first site? Like how did you branch off into more after that?
So that was 2011, and then they had stopped their business, I think 2012 at some point. But then I remember at the beginning of 2013 was I somehow got plugged into through like a Skype network. I somehow got plugged into somebody from Pocket Fives, and they still had a training site at the time. And somehow through this guy that got plugged in, I started making training videos for them, which was kind of my next like coaching or training thing that I did with it.
Okay. And all while you're coaching, you're still playing and grinding and still doing the poker pro thing, right?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And just like moving, like consistently moving up, or did you just kind of try to stay at one level? Like what was that like as on the side of coaching? So now you're playing as well.
Mhm.
Like how was that going? And was the coaching really helping you to get out of that downswing and to turn things around?
I would say coaching and any of the other income that comes from around poker, like the training videos, the coaching, um, you know, advertisements, like whatever, you know, stuff like that. That stuff kind of helps maintain. It's almost like playing sit and goes, you know, like trying to keep yourself afloat a little bit. And then
Right.
poker is kind of like where we hope to make the biggest gains.
Right on. Yeah, that makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah.
So Black Friday, for that don't know, online poker was legal in the United States, as far as like, and then there was like these big poker sites that the whole world could play on, and the prize pools were huge, the player pool was huge. Black Friday comes along, they put this crazy little loophole or whatever you want to call it. I don't know anything about politics, but they put this little weird rule in this silly, it was the Ports Security Act, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
I don't remember, but I remember the moment.
Right, yeah, so there was some act that Congress passed about port security that had to do with giant shipping boats coming from overseas to here, and there was some kind of act to keep those safe
Hmm.
or keep the ports. I don't know. Someone way smarter than me can tell you exactly.
Same,
But
same.
somehow inside of that bill, they said, "Oh yeah, also online poker. We're gonna go ahead and get rid of that."
Yeah.
And then that was Black Friday. It just hit the poker world. Americans can no longer play online poker.
Yep.
Devastating to everybody. What happened to you when that happened? Because you were in it for a couple, what, 2 years,
Yep.
being a pro for 2 years, doing your coaching. I mean that must have been such a gut-wrenching just check. And I mean, I couldn't even imagine like what that would do. What was that like?
It was so right before it happened, I had won a tournament for like 5K, and I was in
Oh,
the process of cashing it out.
of course you
So
were.
I had to wait 3 years. Cutting ahead, I had to wait 3 years to get money back because I cashed out right when Black Friday happened. So if I didn't have documentation to show I did it, I would have lost it because it was in like gray space.
Right.
So, but I remember waking up that day, check my account, see if my withdrawal had gone through, and the typical thing that people see is this FBI warning on the website if you
I
try to
remember
like
that. I remember that. Yep.
it, and at that point I was like didn't really know what it meant. I was like, this looks serious because you open up
To the FBI, of course.
yeah. I was like, and then like for me it was like a real slow thing, and then honestly for a while I like was kind of in a mode of like, is this real? Like, okay, this will pass soon and nothing's gonna happen. And then like I think it was maybe a little after a week or so, PokerStars had given everybody refunds, and then that was kind of the point. I was like, oh, so I guess I go back to Carbon, which is what I did. So I didn't panic too much because I was still actually playing on Carbon at the time. So I was like, I guess I have to play here now. So I actually, yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't really panic too much because I still had there was still places that you could play, but they knocked out the big contenders, the Poker Stars, the Full Tilt, the Absolute Poker, and or Ultimate Bet. That was Phil Hellmuth's site. You remember
Oh,
that?
right. Oh, of course I remember Ultimate
Yeah.
Battery. Of course. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun one too. But
I was a bit I don't know if you remember this one. Poker Room.
that was my very first site.
Real
That,
mine too. I did pretty well on Poker Room. I was the last American. There was a tournament every night called there was two of them, the Long Kiss Goodnight
Mhm.
and the other one was the Midnight Oil.
Oh wow, I can't believe you remember those names.
Yeah, I'm old school. I'm old school, man. I was the last American to final table the Long Kiss Goodnight, and I think I was the last American to win the Midnight Oil.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Man, it's so kind of like nostalgic thinking about the poker room client and kind of that hunter green and the
I
little
I don't have it
cars.
with me, Ray. I had it up here earlier. I'd show you. I still have a coffee mug. Whenever I would win a tournament, I would buy. They had that store on there. You could use your poker winnings or
Uh,
whatever your poker account
oh,
to
that was
buy things.
cool. Yeah.
I and every time I would win a tournament, I'd buy myself a T-shirt or a mug or something like that. And I still have my green poker room mug.
Nice. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, Daniel Negreanu used to have a tournament on there too.
Did he?
Yeah, he was sponsored. So Poker Room had skins, and one of the skins was called Full Contact Poker,
Mm,
and that was Daniel Negreanu's skin. And it was, it was the same client. It was the Poker Room client, but if you played on his skin, like the tables would have like athletes, like they had the different people, like
yeah.
it would be the grandma and grandma's seat. It was like a hockey player.
Mhm.
And so he had like, he was in a, I don't know, he just had his full contact poker and he had a tournament every night. And I got to play with him a few times on there. It was really cool. He would always talk to people and was real great about that stuff. So
Nice, nice. That makes sense. I could see that, right?
nostalgic, if
Oh,
just
wow.
nostalgia right here. That's funny. What was your name on Poker Room?
I'm pretty sure it was Drew Peacock.
Okay.
Yeah. You remember him?
No.
That you might just know the Bet on Drew days, right?
No, well, I remember I've been watching, I've been a follower of yours for a little bit. So I remember Along Came Molly and Dancing Nancy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For the table
Along Came
names.
Polly. Wait, Along Came
No,
Molly. Along Came Molly. That's
Molly.
right. That's because I
Yeah.
would make the joke. You would sometimes say, "Oh yeah, I'm on Molly tonight," because you
Mhm.
had your different accounts, and I would make the joke, "Oh, Drew's on Molly."
Yeah.
the one guy who would probably never be on Molly.
Right, right, exactly. That's funny.
Right. And so I guess we can skip around a little bit. Anyone that's listened to my podcast knows I don't have a one track mind. I do bounce around a little bit. Probably
Let's
not the
do it.
greatest. Um, so now you're in California
Yep,
and you were in what is it, North Carolina?
yep, yep.
Did you know it doesn't matter. So personal things happened. And we don't need to get into those. That's fine. But then you moved out to California. What made you move all the way across the country? I mean, so you were sorry. Let me restart. You were saying you were a professional poker months ago, and then now you're not, and now you moved to California. What brought you to California from the other side of the country?
So my wife and I got separated, and it was it's you know what the whole thing is like negative, but a lot of positive has come from it. You know what I mean? It's kind of all about perspective. Bad things happen. We make our choices. It is what it is. So I was in a point where like at crossroads in life, right? To kind of make it easy to understand, I was like in a crossroads, and so many friends have been made through Twitch and just connections and things like that. And one of my friends saw what I was going through and kind of just threw an idea out there. It's like, hey, if you need to get away for whatever reason, like I have an opportunity here. It's totally on you. If you need it, I got you. In short, it was basically like that.
This was a Twitch friend.
Yep. Yep. A Twitch
Like,
friend who had grown much closer. We talked on personal levels and things like that,
no, I get
cell
that, but
phone.
that's like the first, like you guys initially became friends through the internet on this
Yeah.
streaming platform.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who was this friend? Can you give his screen name or something?
Yeah. It's I speak Donkinese.
Oh, I speak Donkanese. I'm aware of that fella.
Yep, yep, yep. You definitely see him out on the streets there, poker streets primarily, and PUBG. But yeah, yeah, he's a hero on the streets, and if you see him in the streams, he's like always supporting people. So it was really cool, and it came at the right time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It
yeah,
came at the
that's
right
awesome.
time.
Shout out that I speak Donkanese.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. But by the way, too, just you may already know, but we just got back, me, him, and we met up with some other friends out there, of course, in Vegas at the WSOP. He ended up final tabling the Giant event, the No Limit Hold'em event. Out of 9,000 people, he got seventh.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. So, well, no, I'm not,
Wow.
but
No, I
yeah,
know what you mean. Yeah. Wow. I didn't the Colossus, is that what they call that?
no, the Giant actually. It's
Oh,
called the Giant.
is there not a Colossus or
I
is
think
that
they're still doing the Colossus too. I think, yeah.
9,000? This was real people. This wasn't online.
Yeah, no, this is real people. It was
Can you
crazy.
imagine just the absolute smell of 9,000 poker players? Absolutely disgusting. But poker players are the most disgusting human beings on the planet in the casino.
Man, the casinos, crazy. Casinos. It was slightly better than that. It was slightly better than that at times. I don't know, but you should see some of the breaks out there during the summer.
Right.
Like it's just like a horde of wildebeests, like going down the halls at the Rio to the bathroom. They're rude too, man. Sometimes
Of
like
course they
this,
are.
people are just. You have to experience that atmosphere. There's going to be good and bad everywhere, but if you're into poker and stuff, it's like you should go out there. Not you, but anybody,
No,
watching.
me. I do need to go. As long as I've been playing, I've never been to Vegas. I need to get out there and just play. I don't care if I go out there and just play a couple events or just play some 1-2. I need to get my ass out there. I do. I need to do that. I'm kind of working on that. I have a guy that's
Mm,
gonna I got a guy that's he spends a lot of money out there, and he's from here in Kansas City, and he
mhm.
goes out there, and there's a dude with a sign that picks him up, has like a limo, picks him up and takes him wherever he wants. He gets free room and food, and
Wow.
all like gets the whole 9 yards. And he said I can go with him whenever I want. All I gotta do is pay for my plane ticket, which is nothing, like 100,
Yeah.
$120 or something like that. So I'll be out
Nice.
there. I'll be getting out there soon.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. So Donkey's took seventh. That's out of 9,000 people. Nice, good cash. And a little karma coming through, throwing some love your way, and then he gets that score.
I hope, you know what I mean? Even though that's kind of one of those things where, you know, you just, in no matter what, I was just really happy to see it. Do you get what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I was just,
Yeah.
it was a super cool moment and, you know, deserved, however somebody wants to communicate it. You know, it's just one of those moments in life you just won't forget, and super happy it happened, you know?
So what are you doing? Like he invited. So what exactly is it? What is that opportunity? Can you talk about what you were able, why you're out, what brought you out there? What is it that you're doing now?
So basically, it was like the job was to help work in this vape warehouse and manufacturing company.
Okay.
Okay, and so for people who don't know, vaping is the cigarette alternative, and there's a bunch of ways you can do it. There's flavors with the smoke. You can have controlled nicotines, and so the big thing out here in California, because I wasn't fully aware of what the like vape industry or the vape world was like, but out here in California, it's pretty big. And he's a big player out here, you know, well known. He's been in the industry since basically the beginning. But so I'm helping in that warehouse. They are recently doing some rebranding, some restructuring. So there's a lot going on. And it was just a nice opportunity for me to come in and be like a sixth man in a certain sense, you know, to kind of help wherever is necessary. But then it also gives me freedom to still pursue poker and play live and play online. And they're very flexible with my schedule. You know, it's set because I want to still be functional there, but they're very open minded. It's not like the way I feel like I remember work, where it's like very corporate, like there's good and bads with that, but very corporate, like, oh, you do this, you do this, you do this. It's
Right.
like,
Right.
hey
Yeah.
guys, let's figure this out. You know, we're on the same team. Like, what do you think? Like, okay, you need to do this. Like, I got you. You know, the vibe is much different. So that was a big draw because I could still pursue poker and the live scene out here. I used to in North Carolina, I had to drive 7 hours to get to Cherokee.
Wow. 7 hour. You ain't playing live poker if you got a 7 hour drive.
Exactly. So that just wasn't happening in North Carolina. I didn't have that option. All I had was online. So out, and I don't have a car. Like the car that I had was with my wife. So when I drove, by the way, from North Carolina to California, sold, gave away everything that I had. I was just
Wow.
like when I was like at a crossroads, like seriously, I was at a crossroads. I was like, I am, for me, like in my health, I needed to just cut off, we'll refer to it as like the infected arm or something and go. And I did. I sold everything, gave away, like I said, packed everything into a rental and
Wow.
drove 4 or 5
Wow.
days or something like that.
Wow. This is like shit you hear about like in the movies or read about in a book. Like this is insane, Drew. This is insane. This is awesome. Like
Mhm.
wow, like seriously, that's the movies. Oh yeah, I just packed it all. I just left it all and just went for it.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. And, and you know, being like a streamer, I also see the opportunity, like, man, I don't know. I try to, it's incredibly difficult, but it just seemed like, wow, that is kind of epic, you know, to think about and to be able to say, oh, I drove from coast to coast and with just like a rental and a hope that things would work out, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah, yeah.
with the the friend I made over Twitch, who I did talk to and stuff, and you know, we established trust and all that. It wasn't like a complete stranger or anything, but something inside of maybe this, how does this make sense, made perfect sense to me. And yeah, 4 days I visited. Check this out. The very first night, I drove 4 hours and stayed with One Del Geek, had chicken adobo with him and his family.
Nice, nice. That is awesome.
We
Nice.
we watched Poker Pastor on his big screen, and then I left the next morning, and then I drove to Tunica,
And saw
Mississippi.
TSB.
Stayed with TSB one night.
Wow.
He was, so this was cool. And Cha, Cha 222.
I do not.
Well,
No.
he's another Twitch guy, but he drove down to Tunica because oh, by the way, big thing. After leaving Geeks, I streamed the road trip.
Oh, cool.
So there's videos of certain segments when I didn't need my GPS because I didn't really have it set up. I would use my phone and I streamed for people so we could capture kind of
That's
moments of
awesome.
the
Right. Yeah.
journey.
Yeah.
But and then we did the Tyler night. Both Cha and I met at Tyler's. We played a tournament. He was still dealing, so that was actually really cool. When you walk into the poker room and you're waiting for TSB, you're about to see him, right?
The
And that
legend.
I know. And I remember at first I saw Cha, and I wasn't sure if he saw me, so I kind of got a little cheeky and I like ducked down behind this wall. I was gonna like try to sneak up on him, and Tyler caught me,
Oh
right? Because
no.
he caught me doing that because he mentioned it later. But I remember seeing him and stuff, and just in his dealer mode and stuff. But then he turns and looks at you like one of the just some the beard just looked perfect, and it was like the light, his eyes, and it just
On Tyler?
yeah. Like
Oh,
he's
that guy's so handsome. I want to just if I wasn't, I mean, if I was gay, that guy he'd have some real issues with me coming up behind him. I'll tell
I know, right? He, but his hair, you know what I mean? It was just like the energy you feel when he's in his moments. It's like real, you know what I mean? And it was
Oh,
really
you get that.
cool.
That's why people love him. It's just you can feel his energy through the internet. It's insane. He's got just this sick energy that just gets casted through technology.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, and it's very real. So that was an awesome trip. Him and I and Cha hung out, and then the next day before I left, we got breakfast. Right, so that was day one, two, I guess technically two, and then the next day I drove to northern Texas. I forget the city, but Little Dan 1987, another Twitch guy.
Okay.
I stayed with him, and he took me to Top Golf, my very first experience at
I've
Top Golf.
heard about that. Hear everybody speak raves about that thing. Like what? Explain Top Golf.
Okay, so Top Golf is the best way I can describe it. It's a bowling alley vibe. They have a bar, and you go to your lane,
Okay.
and they'll bring you drinks, food, whatever you want, and you compete to on. They have like a electronic board, and you, instead of throwing a bowling ball, you hit golf balls like at a driving range.
Okay.
It's insane. It's awesome. They keep score based on what type of game you're doing. So
Oh, cool.
it carries it across just like a bowling menu, and you compete. And I streamed that too, and it was awesome.
Nice.
And I am the Filipino Happy Gilmore. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. But so it was super fun. It was really cool. And then at this point now, it's just thinking about this whole thing, leaving and going. The first three stops are people I met on Twitch. Final destination is another friend made on Twitch. And then the one night I stayed in the far west part of Texas the night before I actually got to Cali.
Is that El Paso or something like that? Or
I think so, yeah. And that night I just stayed in a hotel, and it was kind of like the night before I got there, so it was kind of fitting. It was
right.
unplanned, but there was like nobody in between there at that time, but the other ones mapped out perfect. So it was weird, and I had this like nice room. I was like, oh my gosh, dude, tomorrow I'm going to be in California, and that's like the destination. Like, what?
The start of a brand new journey. Yeah.
What? You know?
Wow. And so how long have you been there now?
So now I've been here. I coincidentally got here. It was a Sunday. It was April 1st, Easter.
April,
And
May, June, July, August. What month are we in? July. So
so
three-ish,
4 months almost.
almost 4 months. How's it going?
Good. Good, man. It's for, you mentioned it like a movie. In a movie sense, this is exactly how you would hope that it would play out, Like there's not everything's perfectly smooth and all that, but I got dealt a great hand here. It's just kind of how I play it from this point, I think.
Where at in California are you?
Diamond Bar. It's east of LA about 20 miles.
Okay. Is it not like is it when you think California or like I here I am California. Hell yeah, I'm here. Or is it just kind of this is California, but this really could be anywhere. Like what's your spot like?
Well, I'm in an area that is primarily Asian people here. So it's interesting for me because living on the East Coast where I did,
All
I,
rednecks?
yeah, and I was always the minority, and now it's like the other way around. Like if I see like a white person or even like a black person, it's different. I don't know. It's just weird because all I see is like Filipinos and Asians. I'm like,
Really?
yeah, in this area, it's 54% Asian population
Do you
in
love
this.
that? Does it feel awesome to be around that, or does it feel different? Like weird, like
It feels different because I don't really like care about like what people look like and all that stuff. But what's interesting to me is just how different people just do different things. So I'm kind of just, you know what I mean? Like watching it all. Like I'm not, it's weird.
are you getting treated a lot differently than you were in North Carolina?
No, I wouldn't say that. No, I wouldn't say getting treated differently or anything like that. Just different cultures just have different things that they do. Like I'm learning, like out here, so Cali differences. Like I don't know if it's just the network that I've been exposed to or the people, but it just seems like a lot of people like handshakes or a thing. Like on the East Coast, there's like some Cali vibes. Like I don't know, there's some sort of thing that I can't really articulate to people, but like I've given more handshakes and daps and stuff like that, and like you know what I mean, than I have in like 8 years, in like 4 months.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
it's everyone I've
Everyone
been.
out there just wants to contact skin, huh? Like, what's up, Big G? The just the high fives and the fist bump. That's
It's
interesting.
yeah, well, especially it's like if you get exposed to friends of friends, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's more like, oh, okay, he's cool. Like I don't know, like that type of thing. But something different, a little more upbeat than where I was at in North Carolina. North Carolina.
North Carolina.
When I was in North Carolina, it's a little different out here.
Wow. I love seeing people do this. And of all the people, I don't know, man. It's like I said, it's one of those things you see in the movie, and to actually see somebody doing this thing and chasing that dream, like that's huge. A lot of people will be so scared, and the way you are living life, it's really weird to a lot of people. Can you see like? I love it. I love the way you're doing things. You're like you're living life the way you want. You're doing. I want to be a professional poker player. Screw this job. I'm doing it. Shit's gotten kind of hectic around here. I need a change. I got an awesome opportunity to go. What is that? 4,000 miles away. I,
2,800, I think.
okay. What do I know? So 3,000 miles
That was a
away.
good guess.
3,000 miles away. Peace out. I'm gone. Here. I'm California. Here I come. Wow. Wow, like just the balls. A lot of people don't have that the kind of stones that you have to do something like that. I commend you, man. That's phenomenal.
Thank you, buddy. People have said that, and I hadn't. I don't know. For me, I guess, and I think maybe it's due to poker, but I've really, after 8 years, I really have organized my logical, like, you know what I mean? It's like I kind of didn't like once I knew that I just have to do something when I know I have to do it and I have that in my mind, everything else just becomes irrelevant. So I guess the whole like having the big balls, it's I didn't even need them, because I just knew what I had to do. So I guess
What kind of kid were you? Like, where did you grow up?
I grew up in northeastern. Well, the majority of my childhood was in northeastern Pennsylvania, but my I was born in Yuma, Arizona, just like John Papa Giorgio. Do you know the movie?
Vegas vacation.
Oh baby, yes.
Yeah, baby. Holla at your boy. Woo! By the way,
So
the vodka soda is really kicking in right now. So just so you know,
I got some beers, right?
are you drinking?
Well, I actually ran out of one. Do you have a second? Can I go grab
Man,
another one?
please go grab. I got a quart, baby. I'll hold this baby down.
All
Go
right.
get yourself a beer. I
Okay,
got
brother. I'll be
this.
right back.
You guys, I am so excited to have this guy is an absolute legend. A lot of you guys that don't know who he is, um, just listen to this story. I mean, poker player is just fringe to begin with, and then the fact that he was dealt some. Pardon the poker pawn. Obviously, I did not mean that, guys. I'm clever. I come up with shit every now and then, but that the top of my head. He was dealt a very interesting hand in the fact that, hey, here's some adversity. Deal with it. What are you going to do? Here we go. You just got divorced, son. You were with this woman for 10 years. Guess what? Life's throwing you a curveball. You're a poker player and you're getting divorced. And this guy said, hey, fine with me. I can handle adversity. Watch this. I'm going across the country and I'm going to make shit happen. That's what's up. This guy, I hope you guys are enjoying this. This is like just invigorating. It's inspiring. I love these stories. I can't wait to see what kind of beer this guy drinks. Also the other big thing, uh, I mean, I shouldn't make a big thing about it because it's not, except for in the poker world, you don't see a ton of people that would consider themselves Christian. And this guy kind of goes by like, I don't know if moniker is the right word because I am dumb. What would be the right terminology? But he calls himself the Christian poker player, and just this guy is just, I don't know. He's amazing. He's just amazing. He's his own person, and he knows what he wants, and he's going after it. I think anybody that is out there, especially if there's any young people out there, if there's a dream or a passion that you're afraid to take or afraid to take that step, you got to look at these. You got the last couple, a few episodes ago, we had TSB on, kind of talking about the same thing, and now we got Drew on here talking about the same thing, where he's just following it. Like, this is what I want to do. Like, you don't have to get trapped. My last episode with Curtis, same thing. He talks about these traps that society places on us, that you have to go to college, you have to get a degree, you have to get this kind of job, and you have to get a white picket fence and a house and a mortgage and a wife and a square life. You don't have to do that. You can follow your passion. You can do whatever you want. If it doesn't fit the mold, screw that mold, break from it. And that's what Drew's doing. I mean, look at the way he's doing. It's absolutely amazing. I want people to just listen to this, and just, if you're thinking about making any kind of major change, don't worry about the consequences. You have to focus on you. You're on this planet for a very short amount of time. Make the absolute best of it. Be the best person you can, and do the things that you want to do. Chase those dreams. And when life throws you some adversity, take it. Take the bull by the horns, and go across the country. If you want to go to California, go to California. What kind of beer are you drinking, Drew?
Alrighty, sir. We are drinking California
Oh,
Kolsch German style pale ale.
Ballast Point is a phenomenal brewery. They are one of the best breweries in the world.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, they make a. I'm a big IPA drinker. I'm a beer snob. I just got someone turned me on to vodka soda with a lime recently.
Nice.
It's a super refreshing drink, but in my heart of hearts, I am a beer snob. Anybody that knows me, they know that.
Mhm.
And Ballast Point, that their IPA is seriously one of the best IPAs in the world. Nice. So you got yourself a real good beer there.
Nice, nice. I didn't even know. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I am a beer fun player. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. That's okay. That's okay. I always tell people I am quality over quantity when it comes to beer. I like a really good beer. I don't like to get drunk. I like a nice two or three beers, and that's about it. So like maybe a nice little even keel buzz. If I'm
Yeah,
being, if I'm being real.
same. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I like to enjoy what I drink. I don't want to drink nasty. I don't want to drink something I don't enjoy. I drink because I enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure. Me too.
Where were we? What were we talking about?
Hmm. I think we were in California, and
Yeah, you're. It doesn't
you
matter.
you were actually saying something that I wanted to say about kind of just going after it. Telling people that you don't have to fall into the box and things like that,
Right.
and just like do what society says to do. And I totally agree. I totally agree. And I think that can be like it's nice to follow the crowd in certain instances and stuff like that, but like the power of what our man's telling you here, I it's just huge. It's just huge. Do you get what I mean? Because we need to go out of our comfort zone at times. Like, and if we don't, we just don't grow. That's the fact of the matter. And I feel like what helps me get through things is just knowing that one of the goals in life is to, like, huge goals is just to try to keep growing in whatever you're doing, and just get a little better, and just focusing on that makes everything kind of easier for me anyway. So you have to go outside of your comfort zone to grow, you know?
I do know. I know very well. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people don't want to grow, and I think they get in their comfort zone, and people are afraid of change, right? Like, I mean, that's a big motivating factor to not change is being afraid of change, and I think that's a very big issue that society has just placed on a lot of people is just the fear of change, and yeah, people need to just get outside. You're right, get outside that comfort box. And if it's just something, it doesn't have to be moving across the country. It doesn't have to be starting up a Twitch channel. It doesn't even have to be trying to chase a dream or something monumentous like that. I don't even know if monumentous is a word, but I
I
just made it
hope
up.
it is a good one regardless.
It doesn't have to be anything monumental. It just has to be baby steps. I've really been so you're getting a little intimate and talking about you just had a divorce, and divorce is it's a hard subject to talk about and to deal with. I mean,
Hmm.
nobody wants to get divorced, obviously.
Right.
um and I'm fairly recently divorced as well, and it does put you in this place of it's it's a whole nother headspace, and it can really make you make some real decisions. And I think you really have to make the best of a really bad situation. And I see you doing that, and it's really inspiring me. I've been trying to do the same thing, and it's just nice to have a brother to watch from the outside like you, to see you struggling but making the best of it, and like as I said in this last episode of the podcast, doing the damn thing. I love it, man.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, I just it's really it's inspiring, man. You're one of the reasons I do this podcast. I'm gonna be real honest with you, Drew. Like I've looked up to you for a while, and I was hesitant to even ask you to be on this podcast. Like I don't know, like I don't know if I was nervous, like to because to me, you're like a Twitch celebrity. Like you're a somebody, man.
I'm honored, man.
This is just I appreciate I've just wanted to know all about this story. It's so cool because a lot of this started before you were somebody. I mean, you just look at those times when Black Friday hit and you had uncertainty, but you just said, "Screw it, I'm going to carbon poker." You have a downswing. You said, "Screw this opportunity for me to start coaching." Okay, that's what I'm going to do. Like you've made like it's when you have something quote unquote bad happen to you, it's almost from the outside looking like that's what you need. I mean,
Hmm.
look at you. Look what you've done with all of these uncomfortable situations. You're thriving in it. Like, what can you put that on? Like, where is this coming from? Like your positivity. When people watch your streams, you are just always happy. You're all, I mean, good vibes. Like your motto in the community that you've built is basically hashtag good vibes. Like you always have. How do you do it? Like seriously, what's your secret to always being happy? Because I get negative as hell sometimes, dude. I ain't gonna lie. I will cuss, throw fits, just temper tantrum. I'm immature like that sometimes. Like, how do you do it?
It's funny. And so, about Think Bink, right?
I know about
Think
Think Big, but can you explain Think Big to the listeners?
so Think Bank is this is just kind of like a brief little thing, but Think Bank is about just being positive, living a positive mindset lifestyle, and this kind of spawned, excuse me, who the beer, about
Chug it,
three,
chug it, chug it. I want you to chug three more by the end of the story. I'm just kidding.
about 3 years in or something that began, but basically who I am and who everybody knows me to be through Twitch, and at this point, yeah.
No, no, you're good. I'm just off camera for a second.
Oh, okay. I thought you were seconding me. But the guy or the person I am today is like you said, is a result of all the things that have happened to me in my life, and I've been fortunate to have had, like, I get to a point where I just am so uneasy if something isn't like right. Like my spirit is just like a restless one, and I struggle for sure with negative thoughts too. But like I remember I had a moment when I was in my like younger 20s or something where I just realized like I had a temper. People are going to be surprised to hear that, but I had a bad temper. And whenever, when you get close to somebody, they kind of know how to push a button. And I had my girlfriend at the time knew how to push that button, especially when I was usually being ignorant or stupid or whatever the case may be. And I set her off unknowingly. And I just remember there was a time where I just lost my temper. I've never hit anyone, anything like that, but it was just for me. I remember like I just hated who I was when I was angry and mad. I hated it. I hated it. And I just reached a point where I was like, that's not you. Like, what do you even bring to the table? Like, nothing positive comes of that, My
This
logic.
happened.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to
Go
stop
ahead.
you.
Go ahead.
Did this like when did that realization hit? Was it just one? Was there one big fight where you're like, "Holy cow! How did that just come from?" Like, when did that realization happen?
I always tell people on stream, right, that like I'm kind of proud of it. I've never broke a mouse or a keyboard in all my years of playing poker, video games. Never broke a
Can
mouse or
I?
a keyboard.
I
Have you?
got. I can I. Is it cool if I interrupt? I'm sorry.
Of course, of course.
I So I like poke. I used to play online. I played in the Sunday Million on Poker Stars before Black Friday.
Hmm.
I was running and playing the best poker I ever played. We were down to the final three tables, I think. I get I get pocket queens. Guy raises, I re-raise. He re-raises, I call. Flop is something like 10-4-3. He he bets like half pot. I shoved all in. I was top 10 stack with 30 people left.
Hmm.
He was top 15 stack.
What did you have?
I had queens.
Okay.
Uh he raised like half pot. I shoved all in. He called. I had queens. He had jacks on like a 10 high board. Turn is a jack.
Oh my
I
gosh.
had all I had. I was gonna make the final table of the Sunday Million. That pretty much busted me. I still made like I think a little over 2 grand or something like that.
Hmm.
I got so pissed. It was the most. That was my best run ever. That was like you were saying earlier. Sometimes you just have to get lucky.
Yeah,
That was my luck. That was gonna be my break. I needed that. I really needed that. That was gonna be. I'm done. I used to lay carpet for a living.
yeah.
That was. I'm done laying carpet. This is gonna be my ticket to be a pro as well. I got so pissed off. I went into my bathroom and was living on the fifth floor of an apartment. Went into my bathroom, the lid of the toilet seat. I just slammed it up as hard as I could, broke the entire toilet. Water's going everywhere
Wow.
from the fifth floor all over the place. I'm like, oh no, of course. I just had the worst bad beat ever in my life. Lost out on who knows how many. That guy that basically busted me ended up taking third, and
Yeah.
he was garbage player. And then so I have to call the maintenance man. It's on a
Mhm.
Sunday, and he comes in, fixes it immediately. He was like, "So what happened here?" I was like, "Oh, I took a shower and I fell."
Yeah, what do you want to hear? What do you want to hear?
I had no idea what to tell him. I got pissed off
Mhm.
and broken it. So yeah, I've broken more than a keyboard or a mouse. And you've never broken anything like that, huh?
I never, that's funny. I never broke anything except this moment that I'm going to tell you about when I kind of realized like how much I hated being angry. Oh,
Okay.
I was in a fight, a three-way fight with like my sister and my girlfriend because my sister was living with us at the time. And oh my gosh, it was just all I can remember was it was a stupid fight and I broke some chair, little wooden old chair that we had, right? And I didn't do, like I said, not over anyone. I just broke it to like express my anger. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
still, though, after that happened and the heat of the moment cooled down, I remember just kind of reflecting and it was like, I never like, I've been blessed in the sense that I'm pretty selfless, by nature. And I never like wanted like when I saw that I broke a chair, I never wanted to get any closer to touching anyone or hurting anyone or anything like that. Like the thought of that scared me of me essentially, like that scared me. And I was like,
That you have that capability to do something like that. That would be
yeah,
inside of you. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And that was enough motivation for me to be like, I'm just gonna again another moment where I'm just like I'm just gonna do whatever it takes, right? And I chose
Wow.
to just like I'm not gonna let myself get like that. Like, what can I do to not do that? I know that I do not want to be that person. And when that moment hit me, of course, I thought of some things. Whenever that moment comes over me, even if I have tables up, I get a bad beat, whatever, I know that I need to go for a walk. I need to go outside, go for a walk. It's like it doesn't matter what I'm walking away from. If it's an argument, it doesn't matter because I know if I stay for the argument, I'm going to get closer to that point. I'm going to get pushed to it. So I just became very aware of um, the margins I needed for things, and I hit these points. My bankroll management, the point in poker that hit for me, I was just like I hate busting and feeling so empty and not being able to play or wanting to reload. I was like I hate it. I hate that feeling, and so I guess I'm very driven by like that. I don't know how to communicate it, but like when I got to that point where it's like I hate being angry, I'll do whatever it takes. I don't want to do that, so I focus on nothing but positivity and
Wow.
always just like push myself to that, and I know nothing positive comes of it. My logical mindset, bankroll management too, it's like I hate busting. I don't care if I have to play a quarter tournament. It's better than playing for nothing. You know what I mean? Like these points hit for me, and the only choice to get any sort of peace in my brain is to stop doing the same stupid things that I've done in the past. Do you get what I mean?
Well, when did that start, bro? When did that start?
That was 2000. I believe that was 2000 and 2000, and it was actually kind of around the point of Black Friday. Yeah, it was like 2011 or 12. 2011 or 12.
How old were you?
I was, let's see, I'm
26, 28, 28?
34. Yeah, I was, yeah, 28.
28. It took you till 28 and you realized getting this pissed off I don't like. This isn't what I want.
Hmm.
Wow.
It took a
That's
lot.
man, that's I mean for a male that's mature. I mean seriously. I mean I still haven't come to that point, I think. I don't think. I don't
It's a
know.
tough, it's tough to get to, and
How
that's
did you get there? How? Like you just I don't like getting this mad. I broke a chair. I don't
mhm.
like getting this mad. I broke a chair. Well, I don't like being capable of this. Where did that come from?
I think personally, it
How?
comes. I think personally, it comes from, like I said, I say blessed. I think naturally in my spirit, I'm pretty selfless, and I tend to want to put people before myself. But I think consciously we can put an effort towards becoming more like that. Like I got lucky, right? In a sense, 100%. But it's like I said, when I broke that chair, I knew that I took a step closer to maybe hurting someone or doing something stupid and messing up my life. Like I just knew it wasn't good. And when I get to that point, I was like, I don't want to do that to anyone. I don't want to do that to myself. Like, I don't want to put myself in a spot where I go to jail, I get arrested, or like it just, I didn't want to do it. And I know that it brings nothing to anybody else. So I'm sure the people who watch the stream can feel this in the stream. Like, I don't, like, hopefully through what I do on the stream, I can help people to get to this point and inspire them, just like the reason I do the bankroll challenge. Like, look, you can do it. I had an anger. I used to cuss all the time. I, never really did any hard drugs, but, I've done coke and stuff like that. But like, I've done all the partying, blacking out, try to get with as many girls as possible. I've done all that, like, normal stuff. But I just don't feel like when I'm doing that, it just feels all for me. And I don't like, for lack of a better way to say it in this moment, I don't get off on that. I get off on helping other people. And, that's what I feed on. So my selfish is being unselfish, if that makes sense. That makes me the happiest. And that's the most motivating thing to me. It's not money or anything else. It's and that's kind of silly, and I feel stupid saying that it's not money, being a poker player and stuff. But actually, somebody at work asked me the other day, like, what motivates you? Because they were trying to get me to do these, like, something that I wasn't fully comfortable with. And the one guy trying to get to the bottom of it is like, what motivates you? He's like, is it money? And I was like, no, it's not. It's not motivating to me. I don't care how much money I could make doing this. It's not motivating to me. I'm not, like, happy. And I know if I'm not being my best version of me, which involves being focusing on positivity, good vibes, all that. If I'm not the best version of me, I can't bring anything to the table for anyone else. You know?
Man. I
So when I moved from North Carolina to California, I had to get better or I can't help anyone else. Makes my decision super easy. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like I feel like a complete failure sitting here talking to you. You're just I would think I would think I would want to get I was thinking I was like, yeah, I'd like to get poker lessons from this guy. I don't want I want life lessons. I'm not don't laugh at that, dude. I'm serious. Like seriously. You're a really good dude, man. Like you're just a good man. How? I wish I knew how to be a good man. I'm just wow. You're I don't know, man. I don't know if it's something you're built with. I mean, you've had to work towards this. Is there hope out there for a guy like me?
There's hope out there for everybody. I personally will believe in everybody out there. Okay, I think anyone can do it, and just like poker, a lot of like pros will say poker is 80% mental, 20% skill. I think life is kind of the same. I draw a lot of connections between poker and life, so it's helped me organize my thoughts on life and how to approach the game. Because for me, the way my brain works, I kind of treat life like a video game. Like, that you have to
Like an
like,
RPG?
yeah, or even like I think of sometimes Double Dragon. Okay, I think of the old school
Are you
two.
kidding? You're going old school.
Yeah,
Old. Hey, you see that? You
I,
see the Nintendo.
look at this. I got a Ninja Turtle T-shirt on with
He's
Michelangelo.
got not only is that a Ninja Turtles out, that's an 80s Ninja Turtles.
It is
Late 80s. Yeah,
the
yeah.
OGs, the OGs.
Sorry. Go
But that's
on.
okay. But I think of life, I organize it in my mind as a video game. So it's kind of like when we talk about like negative things that happen to you, bad things, why me, all that stuff. The game would be boring if that stuff didn't happen. Like think about Double Dragon, where there's no bad guys trying to punch you and
No
kick you.
boss battle at the end.
There's no boss.
There's
There's
no
no bit.
bridge. There's no tricky bridge you have to jump over.
Think about that game. Who wants to play that? No one. No one
Yeah.
wants to play that game. But when you're inside of it, it kind of sucks, right? But the fact of the matter is, it's just part of a game in a certain sense, the game of life. So you
Double
can
Dragon.
exactly, you can piss and moan when something bad happens to you, or you can think about a way to get past that hole that you need to jump over on level 2, 3, and get to the damn place you're going. It's like, how do you want to look at
You
it?
gotta
And
be kidding me.
you know,
I
it's like,
cannot believe. Hold on for a minute, Drew. Oh, give me a minute. I'm laughing so hard. I cannot believe your inspiration and the way you live your life is looking through Double Dragon from Nintendo. Wow. One of the most interesting, inspiring people I've ever had the pleasure to talk to lives his life according to Double Dragon. Not even not I'm going to be honest with you. I understand that reference. There's a lot of people that don't understand that reference. Wow.
yeah, I've got other references too.
No, I get it, but I love it. I love that. Drew, you're just amazing. Have you done any podcasts before?
I did one with Corey when Corey was doing the. Corey's my friend, by the way. For those of you who don't know, Corey Walland. But we did when he was doing blunt sessions. Talking about poker and life. He has it on iTunes.
Is that was that years ago?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah. He hasn't
remember.
worked on it too much since, but yeah.
I think I remember that. That was a
Mhm.
long time ago. I think I remember that. I'm a podcast junkie. I've listened to all kinds of podcasts.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I've done one other one, but I love the format. I was excited to get on with you today because every time I watched your stream, that and I've even told you, and it wasn't just like chat hype. Like when I feel like the energy of a moment, like your energy. I've even spoken to Tyler about it and other people. And it's like you, and that's why I even followed up with you when you disappeared, because I know when if you're like pure enough, the way I'll say this, like pure enough to yourself and all about the good vibes, it makes it much easier for you to really understand other people's vibes. Do you get what I'm saying? And like
Absolutely.
I could totally, and a lot of other people can like feel your energy. So when you disappeared, it's like, something's going on, but this dude, like, there's something there. So it's like, I was really excited to see you back with the podcast and everything. And I've always liked your energy. So this I was excited for, you know.
Wow. Wow, man. Dude, thanks. I'm grinning from ear to ear. Yeah, you have been. I mean, there's just a couple people that have been like I feel the realness there.
Mm,
Tyler was one of
yep.
them. You for sure. Like, yeah, that touches me, man. I've always appreciated you, man. Man, that hits me. Thanks.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I mean it. I mean it.
Yeah, I know you do. That's why it touches me. I know you're not BSing me. I know the kind of guy you are, and that means a lot. So I really appreciate that. This is
Yeah. And here we
eh,
are, man. Two single guys.
two
2018.
two single dudes. I wish you lived closer, man. That'd be
I know, right? You'd be teaching me how to be a beer snob, maybe,
I
right?
would, and you could teach me how to get my poker game down a little bit. Um, wow. So we haven't even really touched on it. Am I taking too much of your time? Do you
No,
need to get off?
not at all. I honestly feel like we've been talking for like 15 minutes.
It feels like, yeah, I have no idea how long it feels like nothing. I haven't even touched on your streaming. So we kind of said you are a Twitch streamer. I think people who aren't the Twitch streamers that are listening to this, I think people are going to like this podcast. I think
Mhm.
I'm having a good time, man.
Me too. Me too.
Um, how so streaming on Twitch, poker, what made you start that? I'd love to know. I would love to know how you got started in that.
So it was 2014, I think, and I'm usually bad with dates. I have no idea how poker dates are different, but so I think it was 2014, and I remember seeing an article on pocketfives.com about Jason Somerville in Twitch,
Run
and
it up.
yep, and how he was like showing his cards, but on a delay. I was like, that's weird. And at first, I didn't even like click into it, but then I kept seeing it. Excuse me. So I looked into it. I was like, oh, this is interesting. But then I didn't really. I like tried to like stream or whatever just to test it. It seemed interesting, but what finally one day pushed me to get a new computer, commit to streaming and all of that because I knew it had a purpose. Was part of when I realized what Twitch actually was, like an opportunity to connect with people and just everything that I say like motivates me. You know what I mean? It just seemed to make sense. I already play online poker. You know, there's a business point where it's like, hey, why not make a little extra money while you're playing anyway? So that was of course a big draw in the beginning, but I was not motivated to be the streamer I am today, or was, as most people would know me, you know. Um, when I kind of just committed to streaming to be a positive influence in people's lives, and you know, it forces me to check myself. Do you get what I mean? A lot too. And everything I say to people, I'm honestly just saying to myself. And you guys happen to be there. And at the beginning, when I just decided and got past some mental hurdles, I'm like, I'm just going to stream. I'm going to talk about my hands, and I'm just going
Four
to.
4 years ago, are you saying?
Well, this commitment was I've been a partnered streamer for a year and a half. So I've been streaming for about a little over maybe 2.5 years at this point.
Oh, you are partnered?
Yep.
Wow. I wish I guess I didn't know. I assumed, but I didn't officially know. Congratulations, man. That's a big deal.
Thank you, buddy. Yeah, about a year and a half ago, 18 months is where
Yeah.
the subs are at.
I never paid attention. I
Yeah.
just knew you were, man, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, that was a big thing, man. Honestly, with the Twitch stream is when I really committed. It was honestly, it was like 2000. What year are we on? 2018.
18. Yeah.
So I was like, this is actually a big lead into the Twitch stream, but I was raised a Catholic. So it was like, go to church on Sunday, wear a suit, blah, 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 like all that stuff, rules, rules, rules. And as a kid, I would have rather stay home and play Super Mario 64. You know what I mean? I got like 10 more stars to get on the Iceland. And, like I think like all these other things, I just would have rather have been playing video games. I didn't understand it
You
at
only
all.
get 2 days off, then you got to go back to school on Monday.
I know. And then you come home and you got to do homework, and then you got to eat, and then you got to baseball
Chores,
practice. You know what?
practice. Yeah.
Chores, exactly. So, uh, there was always something going on, but just like church spirit stuff like that, like didn't make sense to me until I actually went through a bunch of drama and trials and tribulations and all that. Like I had been brought so
Before
PG.
poker?
This was in the middle of poker. It was like 2010 2016.
Oh, very recent. So
Yeah.
before you started streaming?
Well, it was actually after my first attempt at streaming because I like tried to stream, but I didn't have a computer good enough for it. I like
Okay.
it was choppy for like 2 months. But when I committed, I bought a new computer. But I committed because it was honestly the easiest way to say it is I had hit a point in my life where I had no idea what I was doing, regardless of how positive I was or nice I was. Life was just not going my way. Okay. And, I was with my girlfriend, ex wife at this point for however long. And it's tough when you're living with someone else because the way I would communicate it to her is like a relationship, especially a marriage, is like two people in a boat. Um, you need to be kind of, rowing in the same direction. And I feel like we weren't at times. And like, also, it's like, yeah, I feel like we weren't at times, and like there was like holes in the back, but she wouldn't tell me about them. I was like, "Hey, there's water in the boat." No, 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 don't tell him. Whatever. That's a
Or
whole
you're
other
going in
story.
circles or something?
Exactly. Like we just weren't on the same page, and regardless of how good I was, I just wasn't finding that thing. And then I came across a student in poker who reached out to me, Gilbert PGT4JC on Twitch.
Shout out to him.
Shout out to him. He is a poker pastor, and playing poker and pastoring a church kind of are contradictory, especially by old school type of mentality.
What kind of church? What's the denomination?
Christian church.
Well, I mean, like Baptist or
No, just like
non-denominational?
non-denominational. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So
They have a longer leash.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And
Right.
so I met him through poker, and I don't really know how the series of events kind of moved from there. But basically, the short story is it kind of just opened my eyes up to something I kind of already knew, which was that I am not the center of this earth, which in my younger 20s, I thought it was. Do you feel me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely. Trust. Yeah, yeah. 20s are definitely. Yeah,
Right, right.
yeah. Yeah. Truth. Yeah. I still am like, well, I am the center of my observed Earth.
Uh-huh. Exactly. But I had hit a low point. I had to re-explore and take a step back and figure out life, essentially, right? And I was like, okay, I have no idea what's going on. I don't know what to do anymore. And I opened my mind up to my buddy Gilbert, to okay, church, spirituality. I won't go too deep into this, but basically, I'm at a point where I understand life in kind of a different sense, and I get a different sort of peace because my values in life and my goals seem to naturally, honestly, because before all the stuff I've already told you up to this point is leading up to what I'm telling you. Like I found that Christianity is the closest thing. Like I would claim Christian if someone wants to put a label on it, even though I don't like doing that. But I would say that my values in life and my goals in life resemble that of a Christian, if that makes sense.
Yeah. While you were off taking your break for a second, I did say that you've kind of coined yourself the Christian poker player. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
exactly. And people kind of like that happened while I was on stream. You know what I mean? Like that transformation, even though it wasn't like a real transformation for me, honestly, it was just like I figured I finally had a playbook to life. Like I was going off the good vibes for so long and it got me far, but it kind of comes back to that. Like if you don't plan, you know, to succeed, you like plan to fail. Like the spirituality gave me a roadmap to like everything that I was already trying to do and like what the point of it was. So when I kind of got to that point in understanding in, a greater purpose in life, streaming full time committed on Twitch became easy, is like, cause like Christianity's like lead people to Jesus and all this like church stuff. But honestly, in this day and age, really, like I had decided that, hey, I just need to be a positive influence for people. That's it. And the way I can do it, I have no car, I have no casinos, I have no way to get outside of my house, is through Twitch. It gave me a purpose. Twitch gave me a purpose, and I followed it, and everything translated. And I'm the person who I am today because of a series of just like moments in my life where I chose to be positive and like dig in more and not just be a mindless button clicker, we would call him in the poker world, you know, and that's it. Pretty much that's how I got to this point. And that's how I committed to Twitch and all these amazing relationships, friendships. Twitch has gotten me through, you know, the trials life has put in front of me recently. And again, I'm never going to take away the fact that I got lucky here and there, you know, but I also feel like we create our own luck, right? We say that in poker, you create your own luck, and you put yourself in,
Yeah.
put yourself in certain spots. You play your hand certain way, and at the end of the day, you know, I'm here drinking beers with my man Rural Root of the Neanderthal podcast, you know, and we're just good vibing all over the place. And I can't, like, I know in this moment, not supposed to be anywhere else. You know, life is fine. Life is good. We're all good.
Life is good. Life,
And this,
life is good, man. What a way to spin things. Like life is good. Life doesn't have to be bad. Things can happen. That doesn't mean life has to be bad. I have a notebook here with paper in it, and I wrote something down that's just coming to my mind. I'm gonna grab it real quick.
let's get
I want you to listen to it. I want your opinion on what came to me one day.
it.
Hold on.
Okay, cool, cool.
Oh my gosh, I got to pee so bad.
Pee break or what?
No,
I finished my beer. I might chug the next one for you.
what?
You behave.
Nah. All right, let's see. It's not that one. Okay. So I've gone through some different trials and tribulations myself. I haven't gotten too involved or deep into it. I haven't explained a whole lot of shit, but anyways, whatever. Here we go. Tell me what you think.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't have to be proud of myself, but I can make myself proud. That's it.
I like it.
I
I
don't
like
know.
it.
It's yeah, we all make mistakes, and I've found it very easy to dwell on mistakes, especially when you're a kind of like a perfectionist type person, which I beat myself up. So any kind of time, anytime I kind of like mess up big time,
Hmm.
I don't know, I get really hard on myself, and it's just like so like you mentioned that I had disappeared, and I tell you what, can you hold? I'll come back.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
about we were talking about your Twitch and all that stuff. You're a Twitch expert. Can you hold court for like a minute and a half while I go to the restroom?
Yeah, for sure.
Talk about whatever. Actually, here we do. Here we go.
Uh-huh.
Pimp your vapor company. Can you do that for a minute and a half? Tell them all about your company, how people can get stuff. Pimp. Here's a minute and a half commercial.
All right. Okay, everyone. So, oh gosh, he's so great. He's so great. So I said earlier that I moved from North Carolina to California, and I am working with a vape distribution and manufacturing company, and it's e-juice. It's a cigarette alternative. Okay, and basically there's a device that you put your juice into, and you vape it, and then that's it. You know, it doesn't leave the like smoky smell, all stuff like that. That's kind of like a quick into it, but basically, the company that I'm working for, they are launching a new line at this moment we're working on. It's called Vape Seasons, SZNS. So you could follow on Instagram. It's the same thing on Twitter, Facebook, Vape Seasons. But yeah, so it's been a lot of fun, and these guys are really good. I really want this brand to take off, and it's just another thing. You know, I really hope I can play my part to help them get to, you know, their goals, their dreams, whatever it may be, because I'm just working for them. I just happen to be somebody who's got, so I have a business degree, and I've worked with multiple businesses throughout my years before playing poker. I had worked 2 years at three separate businesses, 3 years. So like 8 years of post college, 6 to 8 years of post college business experience, through multiple things. But anyway, I was like, hopefully I can use that stuff to help these guys, do something with this. And I'm in a cool spot to help them. And I hope I can do, what I can to help and use my skills. But yeah, so make sure you give them a follow and follow us on that journey. That's another journey too. That's the very beginning. It's a new brand that they're launching. It's a competitive industry. So even just sending our guys over at Vape Seasons, some love, that would be really cool because there's a lot of good dudes there who I don't like saying deserve. It's a weird word to use, I think, especially being in the poker community. But why not? There we go. That's how I'll say it. Why not them? You get what I mean? So yeah, I was just telling them about how the guys, the Vape Seasons, SZNS is the new brand that we're launching, and it's, you know what I mean. I hope to bring my experience to help them, in what they're doing, because they're invested, in a bunch of ways. And when you see friends, people like that, who they've essentially taken me in too, like, hey, here's this guy randomly from North Carolina. He's here to work. Oh,
They
good.
saw something in you. They believe in you. And he's giving you a real shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they just accepted me, in a big time of my life. So I really hope, that they blow up and, make it big and stuff.
I hope so too. I didn't get to hear like I say, use the restroom, made myself another drink. I had a bit of a heavy hand. You guys, I'm not going to lie. I'm a little over the tipsy level. I'm having a great time. I can't believe this. Do you need to go get yourself another beer?
You got a minute and a half for me? I'm gonna go get another beer and go to the bathroom quick too. Okay.
Minute and a half. Timer starts in three, two, one. Go. This is just amazing. Sorry, you guys. This is probably the most unprofessional podcast ever. But again, it's the realest podcast ever. Um, there's something about why I like we're talking a lot about Twitch, and I really suggest if anyone is listening to this, like I did in the last podcast with TSB 253, aka Tyler. Hold on. I suggested anybody that isn't familiar with Twitch to get on there and check Tyler out. I'm doing the same with this guy, Drew. It's betondrew.com. It's all one word at Twitch. So just like any other app, go to the App Store. It's Twitch, TWITCH. Download it. It's free. Set up your account. Takes just a minute. And it'll open up this whole new world to you. The Twitch world is a lot like Alice in Wonderland, going down the rabbit hole. You're chasing a little bunny rabbit. See it go down that rabbit hole. You go down there, and you've just found yourself into the Twitch world. And you're gonna find that the Twitch world can provide you with a lot of entertainment. It can provide you with friendships. It can provide you with a it can just provide you with just this opportunity to see a different world. Maybe the future, if you will. I see the future going into a lot of different ways with technology, and this is definitely the cutting edge of the forefront of technology as far as how we're going to be interacting with each other. I believe, basically was created to watch other people play video games. How weird is that? Who wants to watch other people play video games? I'm gonna watch somebody. If you would have introduced Twitch, I don't know what 30 years ago. Oh, what's up? He's back, baby. He's back. Don't call it a comeback. I was just saying, if you would have meant if you would have come up with the concept of Twitch 30 years ago, like when Nintendo came out, like NES, people would have laughed at your face, like, who wants to watch somebody else play video games? And it's even, I mean, you could have even done it just 15, 10 years ago, been like, why am I gonna watch somebody play video games? And this whole new world of Twitch is that's what it started off as, but now it's just it's whatever you want. It can just really open. Do you have a fan on? Or
Yeah, yeah. Can you hear it?
yeah, it's pretty loud. There you go. So anybody who isn't familiar with Twitch, I strongly urge you to jump down this rabbit hole of Twitch. Just download the app, it's free, and then just get on there. Like I said, there's TSB253 that we talked about that would be a good person to check out. And now there's this guy, Bet on Drew, all one word. You can check him out. There's different categories. Like there's a thing called In Real Life where you can just watch people from all over the world do riding in taxis in Japan, eating in a noodle shop in China or Japan.
Yeah.
There's what have I seen? There I saw a guy hitchhiking across America.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a guy that fishes that just he like fishes. He's just fishing on a stream, or there's a
Yeah.
couple of people just fish. Like what are some of the streams that you've stumbled upon, Drew?
There's a. I don't know if you can hear dogs barking, but somebody might be at the door. There's a couple of
You
small.
got a couple dogs, or are they somebody else's?
So I'm living with a friend of Donkanese who came out here.
Okay.
So I'm roommates, and he has two little dogs that are here. So it's them, and they just see something, and little dog stuff, bark, bark, bark.
Everybody knows how that goes. Little dogs are they're the nut low.
Yeah, 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 yeah. We love you, little puppies, but you are kind of yappy. Okay. But yeah, so wait, what were we saying? Puppies threw me off.
Yeah, puppies threw me off.
All right, so there you go.
No,
Everybody.
it was good. Where were we? Oh, come on, man. Come on. Help me out. Help a brother
Twitch
out. Twitch.
favorite streamers?
Oh yeah, who are some of the streamers that you watch? Who are some? What are some of the weirder streams that
Oh
you
yeah, the
stumbled
IRL,
upon?
the IRL,
Or whatever. Yeah.
Okay, so so Twitch is really incredible. There's so many things you can see on here, like the stuff you said, the fishing and all that. But I've seen other things that I've shown other people, and they're like, wow, that's a thing. Like there's Twitch streams where girls will just rub the microphone. It's called ASMR.
ASMR. Gosh,
And
that's the
and
absolute
apparently
worst.
and apparently there's some sort of like vibrations in the ear that's like relaxing, soothing, or maybe even past that. And so that's an interesting thing. I've seen body painting. Twitch has, I think, changed the terms of service, so I don't think you'll see much of that anymore. There's people who will play live music, which is awesome, by the way, sometimes.
Have you first of all, your answer can be no, and I expect it to be no, and it's not going to hurt my feelings one bit.
Okay.
Have you listened to the audio version of my podcast, like on the podcast apps?
No, I have not.
Okay, I have an intro song and an outro song. It's I like it. It's pretty good. I had it done from a Twitch streamer. It was just her name is Resurrection Fern.
Nice.
Have you heard of her?
Uh-uh.
Partnered. She's kind of she has quite a few followers and all that stuff. She's fairly big, I guess.
I'm gonna give her a follow right now. Twitch.tv/ what is it?
Resurrection Fern, all one word.
RESURRE.
RECTIONFERN. Did it? You see it?
Jennifer Jess. Oh wait, no, she's hosting someone. Yeah, I see.
Okay.
Oh, she's hosting someone singing. Nice, that makes
Okay.
sense.
I just okay. So I'll give you some like inside the inside baseball. Okay, the vodka is starting to kick in, you guys. insight on the podcast and how my mind works and how I'm taking this is I have to network. I have to get people for this podcast. There's
Hmm.
only so many people in Kansas City that I can have directly across me. Um, and so I have to, I want to find people that I think would be interesting to have a podcast with, like you,
Hmm.
obviously. And so I network, I get on, I watch other streams. I'm like, oh, this person might be cool. And I checked out this Resurrection Fern chick, and it happened to be a day where she was like, if you sub or donate, whatever it was, I'll do like a jingle for your name. I was like, oh, I wonder if she would make me a jingle for my podcast. And so I sent $5 to her and said, hey, would you make just a quick intro for a podcast that's called Neander Talk Podcast? And sure enough, she did. And that's my intro. When if you find my podcast on the audio only, like on the podcast apps, you would hear her song for the podcast. It's kind of cool.
Let me see here. And it's the Neanderthal. Same thing when on the podcast app to
Yeah,
find it.
yeah, Neander Talk Podcast. It's got my face, my logo.
Yeah, yeah. I like.
Yeah, yeah, it's Twitch. So yeah, so anyways, my whole point was I was derailing you. Yeah, there's people that play music. Yeah, what else have you seen that's kind of like interesting?
Uh, I mean, a lot of video games, that stuff. Seeing people working on cars. I know there's some guy who streams IRL his garage. He's always working on cars. There's people. There's a cool channel, kind of funny games. They do like they talk about the video game industry. They do like funny stuff. They play games. Like there's a lot of people getting very creative. I mean, honestly, Twitch is at a point where as long as you abide by the terms of service, which are not like crazy or anything, pretty logical. Creativity ceiling is not there. Like, and to me, you could do kind of whatever. And excuse me, the biggest challenge is just being you, really, and I guess implementing it. There's so much opportunity out there just to connect with people in different ways and in your own way.
I think you're right. I just recently, so you obviously know, like I used to stream on Twitch, and then I stopped, and now the podcast I basically do on YouTube and then on the audio apps. And I just recently started releasing some of my past episodes and uploading them on Twitch. But I don't know if that's good or bad. Like I don't know if I should have, maybe you would know. If I should have my audiences spread out all over the place. Like should I have a YouTube audience and a Twitch audience and an audio audience, or should I just try to get them all to converge in one area? Like
Well, I think that we as people kind of connect differently on different social platforms. So I think honestly the best strategy is to, well, I think kind of if you have the people, the manpower, which a lot of us don't, is to focus on as many social media avenues as you can. For us, people who, limited resources, things like that, I think that focusing on two, three and doing it pretty well is a good starting point. So you could do one as well, but I do think that we need to touch on different avenues in the social media. I know I'm big on Twitter, but if you have like a business, you have products, you have service and stuff, you need to be on Instagram. Instagram is huge nowadays. Obviously, Facebook is big and stuff, but Instagram, Facebook, are from I think a connecting standpoint. Twitter's decent, if you're plugged into the community, but I think those are two really big ones.
I like
So
Instagram. I love Instagram. That's my
yeah,
preferred method.
Instagram's super cool. Yeah.
I love it. So yeah, we got off topic a little bit. So your stream. So now you're partnered. A lot of people look to somebody like you who is not only. I think still a lot of people look at you as a for the most part, like online, like a guy that can do it online.
Hmm.
Maybe not like a guy that I think most people would look at you as an example of someone that can do it right now, post Black Friday. in America playing just the American facing sites,
Hmm.
um, and to stream. I can go a couple different ways with this, man. I'm so curious on your mindset on it. Would you suggest somebody chasing an American trying to be a professional online poker player in this day and age with the sites that we have? Like, stop before you answer that. Are you affiliated with like the ACR Stormers? Is there things that you maybe can't say or don't want to say?
No, no, there's nothing holding me back from saying anything. And yeah, I was affiliated with them, and I understand what they're working towards and stuff, but I haven't been promoting and as active in the community as I have in past times. So yeah, no, everything's good. There's nothing, you know.
Okay, so if there was Drew 8 years ago was wanting to say, "Hey, I'm going to try this online poker thing. I'm quitting my job. I'm being a pro." The Drew that does that today, 2018, would you suggest it? Would you suggest it if someone said, "Hey, I want to be an American pro poker player online and knowing my options are limited." Would you suggest it?
It depends, like from a
I mean,
I,
maybe not suggest it, but is it really feasible? Like,
there you go. Yeah, yeah. So actually, I was in a conversation about this the other day with some guys who are online guys who have been doing it online, and it's definitely harder today to do than it was then. So without a doubt, it's more difficult today. Can it be done? I see people doing it all the time. It's really another
do
one of the.
you? Right, Americans. You see Americans doing it right
I,
now?
I see Americans who have full-time jobs and do it and make an incredible, some of them make an incredible side income from playing, but those guys too, I know, have been around the game for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and they think outside the box. They have a very solid fundamental game, and so I've seen enough people to know that it's possible. I know that, if you look at you, me, anybody else, Fedor, any Phil Ivey, these big poker players, anyone successful in business, if you think about it, I mean, I don't know. We have two arms, two ears, two eyes, two legs, all of us. Do you get what I mean? Now, granted,
It's so funny, right? Yeah,
go ahead,
yeah.
go ahead, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go. I'm not gonna cut you off. Go ahead.
All I'm getting to is that there are for sure people who aren't going to be able to do this, but I'm not going to be the person to set those limitations with limited info. I don't know who these people are, but I will tell you that I believe that that we're given kind of the same opportunities, and you can find where there's a will, there's a way. I don't know. That's just the way my Marine dad has drilled into my head.
Right. I Yeah. I want to say there is, but it just seems like it's just the odds are really stacked up against you just because you don't have the poker stars. You don't have
Hmm.
the world stage. We're just so limited with America's card room. I I don't know, man.
I would I would say it this way: somebody out there thinking about doing it, it's don't get caught up in the highlights on TV and everything that you see, because playing online poker in general, is a lot like being a struggling musician. Okay, it's like, picture, I think this is something people can relate to a little bit better than poker. As a struggling musician, you have this passion, you have something you're really good about, or good at, you love doing, but it's not showing returns. It's a real difficult industry to get into, and you hope that you run good and run into the right person and you blow up and you have a big score, you make a big connection. But the fact of the matter is, there's a lot of incredible musicians out there who are playing outside of a coffee shop, who are, you know, got a guitar case open on the street somewhere. Incredible musicians who could make amazing music, but they might not get there. Do you get what I'm saying?
They just didn't
Like,
catch that break.
and that's just the way it is sometimes. That's life. What they do from there is, of course, their choice. But online poker, if you want a real fast connection, is a lot like a struggling musician. Okay, you're going to have to grind for a while, and online poker gives you maybe a few more opportunities than sorry
No, you're good. You're good.
than a struggling musician. That just means someone's home. Online poker might give you a couple more, but honestly, it is difficult. And if you're going to attempt to do it, I would hope that you have some money saved. You don't have you don't have any big risks that you don't want to put out on the line. A family, kids, two cars, 100 bills. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't risk it all for this. Okay.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
If
Yeah.
you have nothing to lose, then give it a shot. Give it your best, like you would anything else in life. Okay. But if you have a lot to lose and you don't have a lot of money behind you to catch you if you fall in something like this, and an incredibly either strong mindset or an incredible understanding of what it's going to take to make it in anything, then I would not suggest it. If you want to be lazy and just get lucky, online poker is not for you.
Um, why didn't you try to move to Mexico or Canada? Maybe Mexico would probably be the better option, I would think, to be a professional online player. But when you were at that crossroads, you got this opportunity to go to California, but was there any kind of inkling or motivation to be like, hey, I can take my stream, my poker knowledge and my skill to poker stars in the world stage, in the world pool, if I just go to Mexico or something like that? Did that cross your mind at all?
Yep. I had three options. So this is actually funny uh, to me anyway, but as I was separated and living separate from my wife for 6 months, along that time, I had already decided three places. I was like, at the end of the year, I was like, I knew I needed something to, like this was probably going to happen. I knew at the end of the year, I needed to figure something out. Canada, Vegas, California were the three places I decided on. Okay. I decided on California because of the casinos, complete other side of the country, experience. Why not? I thought of that. And then Canada was the Poker Stars route that you speak of. Excuse me, beer makes me burp. But I had already pictured in my head for the stream. If I had moved to Canada, excuse me, I knew how I was going to change the stream. I knew what I was going to do.
Yeah.
And like, I had already envisioned these different routes. I knew what I was going to do. The thing was, I had 6 more months technically, because in North Carolina, you have to be separated for a year before you can file for divorce, which makes sense. I totally agree with kind of creating some space between people making emotional decisions. So I get that. I hate it because I'm in it, one of those things.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. But anyway, so I had already decided that, and before I even got to that final point, out of nowhere, an opportunity to go to California comes. One of my three choices. Like, whether you believe in signs or whatever in life, like, I already know I'm down to three. If something
Before
happens,
an opportunity even presented itself, you had that in your mind as a place to go.
yes.
Okay.
So when it came up and everything felt right to me, like inside the gut feeling felt right. When it came up, thought about it, I go through my checklist. This is logical, XYZ, blah, blah, blah. And it became super easy. I was like, dang, I was actually kind of looking. I had already reached out to Poker Refugees, which is a company that formed post Black Friday to help online players move out of country, get residency established so they can continue to play online.
Oh, wow. What a great idea. What a great business model.
Yep, Poker Refugees. I had already reached out to them. They had a ton of success stories. They get you somewhere to live. They like make all the connections that you need. Everything. I reached out to them already at this point. So like with my whole mind thing, like I'm committed to everything. I'm starting all these processes. Let's see what happens. And in my process to maybe go to Canada or Mexico or wherever, I didn't care. I just, you know what I mean? I already knew that the end goal was I need a change. So wherever like life takes me, If it feels right and life pushes me towards it, then I'm gonna go. And I honestly, for the most part, thought I was going to Canada. It was just a matter of I need to get up this money, pay poker refugees, get this spot, and I'm gonna blow up my stream by playing Poker Stars. And then it's funny, life is like, we think we got it figured out, and then life's like, hold up, hey.
Nice, nice, nice.
What I mean?
I do. Hold up, wait. Yeah.
So,
Anytime I can get a hip hop reference on here, I'm like in. Yeah, I love it. Oh shit! What happened here? Oops. There we go. Huh.
so
Why? So why Canada, not Mexico? I mean, just like you chose the most expensive places to go to. Like Canada's expensive, California's expensive. Were
uh,
those?
it was more so like, so the Canada thing was because of Twitch streaming, Poker Stars, all that, but it also wasn't too far from my family. If I was going to go to Canada, I was going to try to go to the eastern part, so that if my mom and dad or something and my brother, sister, all that, or wanted to visit, it wasn't terribly far. Mexico was just way further. Like, why not go to Canada? Canadians are nice, whatever.
Yeah, but California and Mexico are neighbors.
Well,
Yeah.
I know, but I was just thinking that's where my
Right.
thought
Yeah, I
was
got
with
you.
it.
I'm just giving you a hard time, man. What I do?
But then the California was because of the live casinos all kind of bunched up, and why not California? And then Vegas. Do you get what I mean? That was a poker decision
Yeah, absolutely.
there.
Um, you can plead the fifth on this, and then I
Okay.
won't take it one way or the other, but how I want to word this in a way to give you an out.
Okay.
Like
But you,
your
say it however you want.
your commitment factor to California.
Yeah.
How strong is it if you were like, you know what, this isn't exactly what I was hoping for, Mexico, or if you wanted Canada, Canada's really, really sounding interesting. I'd like to take the stream and the Poker Stars route. Like, what's the commitment level? Like, could that still be an option? I just, from a selfish reason, I suppose, or I would like to see that, Drew. I would love to see you blow up. I think you can be bigger than Jamie Staples.
Hmm.
Um, I think you can be a lot bigger than him. I think I'm not going to talk trash on him. He is what he is. He's whatever, but I think he's kind of next to Jason Somerville. I think he's kind of the pinnacle. Would you say?
Yeah, yeah, I totally dig that, and I know where you're coming from with it, and people have told me that, and I think Jamie, has done a great job, and obviously there's a lot of heroes out there, but give me Poker Stars and what I do and a clear mindset, and I believe too firmly, just as you do, that we could blow up on Twitch. It just the market of people who play on Poker Stars versus the US facing sites, it's just, I don't know, 10, 20 times bigger. So, the draw and things like that could just be so much better. And so, to get back to your original question, is it an option? Yeah, of course. You know what I mean? Because I'm living, like, again, I've been given a great opportunity to get out here and stuff, and I'm super appreciative of it. But I know that if life has a different plan, I need to be ready to adjust. And if it ends up, let's say, like, I know, for instance, let's say I win the main event. I'm going to give like a real easy example. I win the main event.
Come on, let's get something a little more realistic.
I know, right?
Not to be whatever, but a little more realistic. That's
Well, like, if money became a non-issue in
Oh,
any,
I see what you're saying. Okay.
yeah, if money became a non-issue, right,
Yeah.
then uh there's nothing, like, I don't have like a wife, I have a lot of friends here, but I'm not like committed. Like, I'm committed to doing my best wherever I'm at. But if, like, for some reason my story changed, like, let's say this company that I'm working with now, knock on wood, all that other superstitious stuff, whatever. Let's say it doesn't work out, they have to close their doors. Do you get
Right,
what I'm
right.
saying?
No, that's kind of what I was. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, like I know that I'm always going to have this stream. And if I need to relocate, whatever, to do what's best for me, I know that the people who are closest to me are going to understand that. They're going to
right.
support me.
Yeah,
So everything is kind of on the table for me in that sense. I'm not going to like leave what I'm doing now to do that because I know I need to grow here still. Do you get what I mean?
yeah.
So that's going to take a while, but you never know. It could happen.
Yeah, I just know, and I don't know if it would be financially beneficial for you to do something like that. I just know that with your American following, I think it would definitely translate more if once you got that world following. For whatever reason,
Hmm.
people just don't want to watch American poker players. I think you've kind of would you agree that you've hit kind of the American streaming plateau?
Um,
As far as
I
streaming goes, do you think you can get much bigger? I'm not. I honestly, I don't know.
I'm it definitely feels like we are capped in a certain sense. There's a ceiling somewhere. It feels like that. We just don't People on Twitch want to watch people play games that they can play as well. Do you get what I
No,
mean?
that's what I'm saying. That's what's awesome about it,
Hmm.
because I think that's one thing you have going for you is you have the American viewers because that's what we're stuck playing with, and we want to see not only because of who you are and how awesome you are, but you are like one of the best American players streaming, so everyone gravitates towards you and maybe a couple others. Um, but the world isn't looking at the best American streamer because they probably just think, "Oh, what does that guy know? He's only playing other Americans." So I just
Right.
wonder there does have to be. It does seem like as far as an American poker streamer,
Hmm.
there's just that there's that level that I don't know that it's possible to get over because I don't think the rest of the world is coming to watch that. I just don't.
For sure. I can't disagree with you. I honestly can't disagree with you. Like I think about some of the biggest streamers that are American only. It's like I think Ming was pretty popular for a while in the early Twitch stages. He hasn't been streaming much at all lately, Ming the Merciless, but I know he's got like over 10,000 followers. I've got like
I don't think
92.
he counts anymore. I'm not counting Ming anymore. I don't think
Well,
he.
I'm saying just as far as people who have been limited to an American reach, right?
Okay, yeah.
So I'm kind of trying to set some sort of gauge, right? So I'm as far as streamers go, he went in his peak. He's been, maybe in between 200 and stuff, but that feels like an American streamer kind of peak. I've been in the same range. Lappy's been in the same range. Jay Smith's been in the same range as far as like an average and whatnot, so there's for sure, without a doubt, a ceiling. It's tough. Like even nowadays, I was talking to John Blaze, another American streamer who
I
streams.
love that guy. One of my favorite human beings on the internet is
He is.
John Blaze. I
He's a
love
really
that
good
guy.
dude. Him and I
Love
play a
him.
lot of Fortnite lately and stuff. But
Get me on that. I sent you a request. I'm KC Rhino. I sent you a
okay, cool.
request. I
Well, how
think.
long ago?
Are you
Because
bet on Drew?
right now I'm 253 Drew, but because I
Oh,
was
I better
um
switch it up then. Two
yeah,
five
yeah.
three. Would you lose a bet to TSB?
No, there was this one night when some of these other guys streamed snipe Tyler. And we were playing with him actually, but when they stream sniped him, for those of you who don't know, stream snipe is like you're watching someone stream, it's in real time, and then you get into the same game and you know where they're at. So you go to that spot because you're watching their stream, you snipe them. And these guys had who were part of our buddies, you know what I mean? It was super funny in real time when it hit me, but I got killed by somebody and it said like 253, or it said I don't know, Rambo 253, and then their whole team, everybody had changed their name to 253, right? So it was a super funny moment to me. And so I just like we talked about at the beginning of this podcast, everyone loves Tyler. I was like, "Oh, I want to be a part of the 253." So I changed my Fortnite name to 253 Drew. So that's where that came from and why it's different, but
I
yeah.
better. I gotta send you a friend request. Now I sent it to Bet on Drew. I'll send it to 253 Drew later.
Yeah. But the American poker streamers are for sure limited. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty confident to say that it's, unless you have a really big name, like Assassinato came, but he still got PokerStars reach. Like he had some people, but so pure
I
reach. It's
love can I interrupt you again?
of
I'm so bad.
course
Am I the worst podcast host ever? Like just
no,
interrupting.
no, not at all, not at all.
Sassonato
Uh huh.
is I have okay, no homo.
Uh
I love females. I have a crush on Assassinato and not
huh.
in that way, just in I've really liked that dude for years. I really like he does he still have a podcast?
Yeah, I think, is it the one outer?
One
Or
outer. He
is
still
that-
does one outer? Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
I haven't seen anything released recently, but I know he's been working on a lot of stuff. He's actually going through a divorce too.
That's been going on for a while.
A while, or I don't know if he's still in it, but
I
I
think
know that
that's
that's a
got to be
thing.
over with by now. That's been a while ago, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Um yeah, I've always liked that guy. I've always liked him and the problem with his stream it was all HUD. It was just HUD numbers all over the place. He had tables all over the place. It was not a Twitch friendly stream. It
Mhm.
was like the one percenter of poker players would understand that because I've had all the statistics, and I can't remember if he had a camera on him.
He did,
I
but he
think
wasn't
he
really
did.
talking too much.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He always had good music.
yeah.
He's a good hip hop head. But yeah, yeah, I don't think he could have been bigger. What you were saying with his Poker Stars reach, but yeah, I think his
Yeah.
stream was just lacking because it was so technical. It wasn't personal.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You have to bring us back. Like I said, I deviated somewhere.
So we were talking about the American reach streamers, very limited, and I think that's kind of where we're at,
Okay,
basically.
yeah. No, you're right. So yeah, well, TSB and I were talking about you. I think you kind of maybe watched it.
Yep.
Would you? I think it would be cool. Do you have any thoughts about maybe traveling for an online event like Scoop or Coop, like the big series that like PokerStars does? Like maybe just going up there and doing like a 2 week long stream or something like that. I think that'd be cool to watch you go up there. Like here's our guy. Here's our American going up to Canada to do a spring championship of online poker in Canada. See how our guy does. Let's watch this, and we get to watch it on stream and get to see you in action on the world stage. Have you thought about doing something like that?
No, but I'm doing it. I'm writing it down.
All right, I get a piece of that action, son.
Oh yeah. No, I'm serious. I think that's a great idea. Like when I put something, but through these stories, you should know kind of when something gets in my mind. Like I'm writing that down. I think that's an awesome idea. I think it would be really, 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 really cool.
I think it would be awesome. I think you should go. What the hell do I know? This is just me being tipsy and being silly and projecting myself onto you. I think you should do it in Mexico because it's so close and it would be cheaper.
Hmm.
And all you need is you just need to play outside of America. Go to Mexico and set it up and just do like a week or two of one of those events. Pimp it out like a couple months in advance or something, and just be like, let the whole Twitch poker community know BetOnDrew is traveling. I'm going to Mexico. I'm taking down one of these Poker Stars events on stream. You about to show you guys what's happening now with the real American, and then you can have like I'm really big into fantasy football. And like, so when you do like your sell pieces of you action for like
Hmm.
events, I
Yeah.
think that's awesome for the stream. And just be like, hey guys, this is like fantasy poker. Buy some pieces of me when I go to Poker Stars. Let's do this on stream and
Hmm.
just make a real. I just think you could have so much fun with it. I think there's something huge there. I think you could blow up. Um, I want to see that. I don't know, man.
I'm gonna
What
put.
do,
I'm gonna. All I can say is I'm gonna put some conscious effort towards that. I think that would be awesome for sure, 100%. I want to tell you another cool idea that I have. That is, like I said, I wrote that down. That's something that, you know, you keep your eyes out. That would be an awesome, awesome story for a bunch of reasons. So you will, you know, I'm gonna shout you out. But the another cool idea I had for like streaming stuff would be to do like because a lot of us poker guys are getting into like Fortnite and PUBG and gaming together and bonding for sure, bonding. And it would be really cool to go on like a guys trip and just like the main focus of the guys trip is we hang out, you know, we have some beers, some eat, and we play video games and we like
Man,
compete and we play tournaments and just play, you
hey,
know what I mean? Like, oh,
I'm inviting myself right now, even if it's
you're
just to
in.
watch, even
You're
if I
already
just
in.
want to watch.
You're already in. We're doing a podcast, video game poker player podcast while we're there.
You guys are outside of my league. You, Tyler, and Blaze, you guys are so far outside of my level. It ain't even funny. Like I'm just
We'll
blessed.
get you up to speed. We'll get you up to speed, brother.
I mean, not on Fortnite. I'll kill you guys on Fortnite. I just mean in the real life, in the Twitch world and poker world. I just have to sit back and watch. You guys are men against men. Like men amongst men.
We're trying, bro. It's, you know what I mean? It's I could see you swapping roles with anyone, honestly. It's just tryhards, just a bunch of tryhards kind of making it sometimes. That's it. You know?
Yeah, yeah. I guess that's a good point. I'm trying. I'm trying. I need help, man. Oh, I need help.
Bro, we all do. Honestly, man, we all do. Seriously, like, you know, we this whole society and thing, culture thing that you mentioned earlier. Honestly, like, what if the like the standard was what we're doing? You know, the standard was struggle. Do you get what I mean? It's just kind of all perspective. Like, I really don't care what anybody thinks about me. Like, at the core of it, like, but I mean that in a sense that, like, what can I do? You know, like, I'm me. You know, I look like I do, I act like I do. All I know to do is like just be me, be honest.
Accept me or don't, but this is me.
Exactly. Like, it's too much work. Like, I'm kind of lazy. Like, lying is too much work. Worrying about what other people think about you, even though very easy, is extra work. Sorry, pass, boring. You know what I mean? You know, this stuff. And so what I'm saying is, you say you're lost. I'm lost, bro. You know what I mean? We're just crossing paths here today. Let's say, you know, we're both lost as ever, but we're trying. We're staying positive, and you know, I'm confident. Especially after today, there's these moments in life where everything just seems to be right or okay, and those moments remind me that, hey, you're on the right track. It's all good. And this is one of those moments. You know, this whole podcast, everything we talked about, nothing matters. It's all cool. Like, regardless of what happens after this, I'll walk outside. Zombie apocalypse will have happened, and I'll be like, I've been waiting for this. Right?
Yeah, are you ready for the zombie apocalypse? What do you got a
You
plan?
want to talk strat? You got another 2 hours?
Yeah, I got all fucking night, bro. Because I've talked about it more than just one podcast about it. That shit does. It's in the back of my mind all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Not like I'm a realist. I don't
Yeah,
really think zombie apocalypse, but that same kind of type of scenario that's in the
yeah.
back of my mind. I've got ideas.
Dude, I honestly think, like, it might seem weird to people. Life gets easier if it was the zombie apocalypse. There's no bills, you know, it's just basics.
No, 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 no. I mean,
I
if you
think it's
think, like, I'm telling you right now, life as we know it right now,
uh
life is tragic. Would you disagree?
like right now,
Life in general for human beings is a tragic existence.
contextually speaking, I will agree with you. Yes.
We make the best of it,
Right.
but it is overall, I mean, life is
There's a lot
just
of bad things going on. Yeah.
not just that, but just I'm not afraid of death. I
Mhm.
have oh, sometimes I struggle with what to share and not to share on this podcast.
Mhm. I feel you. I struggle with the
Uh,
same on stream.
right. Yeah. Yeah. It's real easy to get real,
Yeah.
especially it's easier when you're when you're just by yourself. Since I have you in front of me, it's a
Hmm.
little easier to be like, maybe not. But I know the struggle.
Yeah.
I completely forgot where I was. Shit. Where was I going?
Well, we were just talking about how like I just kind
Oh,
of
life,
were.
how life is tragic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Overall, like life is just it's just full of tragedies. And so the zombie apocalypse is I think about that in a different way. Like I'm
I,
ready for it. Like I have
mhm.
ideas.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think about it like I think it's again. I'm kind of I slide into a lot the video game world where I mean, like, so something's funny, by the way. Like, we talk about zombie apocalypse strategy. And for me, I think about all the worries of the world. All you have to worry about is surviving. That's super easy, in my opinion. Because
Is
honestly,
it? Is it? I don't
no,
know,
no, no,
man.
no, no, it's not. Absolutely not. It's not easy. But I'm saying, like, a lot of my speaking is coming from mentally, like, how much effort is put towards thinking about, like, worries. Because the thing that hurts me the most is thinking about my stresses and my anxieties and things like that hurts me the most. And I think if I'm like in a zombie apocalypse, it's like I don't have to worry about paying bills, I don't have to worry about anything except surviving, so that's the way my
But
mind
that shit, yeah, but surviving like
is.
trumps all of those. It's so much more difficult than paying bills, man.
I know, and I
Like
know.
like all right, what was your scenario of a quote unquote zombie apocalypse? Like what are your realistic scenarios? Have you thought about what is realistic that could actually happen?
Well, I would think that now I actually don't have a plan for this area, but the last place I lived, like the way I guess
You're brand new in LA. I'm gonna be honest with you. You might as well just like call it
GG's.
quits. Yeah, GG.
I know. See, I haven't thought about my zombie apocalypse thoughts since being here. I've got like North Carolina zombie apocalypse thoughts where like this one place I used to live, there was a little grade school, relatively close, like over this one pond is like, okay, as soon as I hear about it, I'm going there, supplies, XYZ. You know what I mean? Like I had all these like random thoughts.
Okay. My question is,
Yeah.
what is a zombie apocalypse to you as far as the cause of it? And then we'll get to the what your plan is. But like, w
Uh-huh.
obviously, it's not real Walking Dead zombies. But like in your mind, what do you foresee actually being a realistic thing that happened event?
I don't know. I'm kind of, I guess, and this might be just because of my exposure to certain movies, but I feel like if it were to happen, it would be some sort of like thing that goes airborne first, some sort of accident, and then it would slowly travel like that, and it would just be like a slow numbers game, maybe a Resident Evil type of vibe. You know,
Okay.
you
You
know,
think biological or something?
yeah, yeah. But
Oh, it's so
I'm,
scary.
dude, I'm gonna say this though. Oh gosh, I pray that they are slow zombies. You seen the World War Z zombies with Brad Pitt?
Oh yeah, they're like on crack. They're flying. They're like Usain Bolt zombies.
Yeah, dude. Like,
Climbing walls. I mean, Spider-Man Usain Bolt had a baby, and it's these zombies. Look out. You done, son.
please, slow zombies, please. If it happens, that's all
Walking
I'm
Dead. You
asking
want
for.
Walking Dead zombies?
Yes. Oh, hey, by the way, so the random funny thing that I thought of the one day, I remember I was sitting with Corey. He was visiting in North Carolina. We were playing online or something. But I remember we were watching Walking Dead when I was still into it, like first 3 or 4 seasons. And the way, of course, they have to do it for TV, but I was thinking about it. It's like, oh, they got this knife and wham, stab him in the head and boom, on to the next one. Oh, you're slow. But I thought about it. It's like when you stab that first zombie, it is not going to be that easy to pull that knife. I feel like right back out of
No way. No
you. That
way.
you notice how easy they make that seem. Like there's
It's like
zombie things
even
that
if
we
you
don't think of.
look, even if you here's a an exercise for you. Take a Bowie knife
Hmm.
and just stab a watermelon and try and pull it out. I promise you, it's going to be a lot harder to pull it out of a watermelon than you would think.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's things like these little things that TV doesn't tell us. But I was thinking about that. I was like, you know what? It would not be that easy. Like, it hit me, and I told him. He's like, and he like laughed. He's like, it's funny that you thought of that. I was like, seriously, I'm really preparing. Like, that's not going to happen that way. Like, I need what do we need in that point to get a smooth pull out, like a double sided spear blade or something, right?
Okay, yeah, like a
Like
katana
a
blade or something.
spear or something. You know what I mean? To where like if you were stabbing a zombie, you'd be able to pull it out
Okay,
fairly effortlessly, right?
gotcha.
Because you stab one zombie in the head, can't get that knife out, GG's, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you run.
What are you gonna do? Are you gonna go with like a bow and arrow approach? Like
Uh,
guns are off, right? We don't want sound.
so if are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
My idea, I don't believe. I think that's there is. I don't believe in a biological zombie type of. What my real fear in the back of my head always thinks is something like a meteor impact
Mhm.
or Yellow. Do you know Yellowstone is a volcano, an active volcano?
I feel like yes, but go ahead.
It's called a caldera. It's a super volcano. It's incredibly, incredibly huge. We didn't know it was a volcano until the 90s. They did aerial shots and they said, that's not just a giant mountainous park. This is actually a super volcano. And when this erupts, this is like almost world enders. Like, this is the kind
Wow.
of stuff that just changes the course of history of Earth, right? It's called a caldera. It's a super volcano. It is scheduled. Okay, here's where my memory is going to fail me because of the vodka sodas tonight. 200, 200, maybe 300. It's over it erupts. It's an active volcano, Drew. I'm telling you, it's
That's
real.
crazy. That's
And
crazy.
it erupts every 200 or maybe 300 to 6,000 years. Every 200 to 300, 200 to 600,000 years
Hmm.
is when it erupts. And the last time of its erupt is well over 200,000 years ago. So it could erupt literally any year. And in
Hmm.
any year, Yellowstone super volcano can just all of a sudden explode. And I mean, if you think Hawaii with the shit that's going on in Hawaii right now is bad, that's a tiny pimple. That is a pimple compared to what Yellowstone would do.
Wow. So
So
you think
that's
that's how it will come?
either that or like I said, meteor impact. Earth has been hit by meteors throughout history, many many times. I mean, even very recently in Russia, we have it on video. I don't know, what was that 7 8 years ago? Do you remember that?
Mm-mm.
Oh, a fairly decent sized meteor hit Russia because they got every Russian apparently has a dash cam on their video on their car.
Really interesting.
Yeah, YouTube just Russian dash cams. You're gonna see some crazy stuff, man. You're gonna Russians are nuts in general. You want to watch some fun? You want to go down a YouTube rabbit hole?
Uh-huh.
just just YouTube search Russian dash cams, and you're gonna see all kind of people pulling guns out on each other, people cutting in front of each other off, big semi trucks flipping over and having giant accidents. It's
Wow.
insane. Everybody, because there's so much crime in Russia, everybody has a dash cam to record everything.
Interesting.
And
Interesting.
so I want to say 6 7 8 years ago, a fairly decent sized meteor crashed into Russia, and it didn't hit like a major city, but it was just
Mhm.
on the outside. It hit a bunch of stuff because they have all those dash cams. They caught it on video, and it was a pretty decent impact. And you want to Russians I wish I was Russian. I wish I was Russian. They are the hardest people on Earth. Not a reaction. Not a single. You would see this meteor flame across the sky, land, impact, boom, and people are like, "This is Russia. We don't care. This is nothing. We've been through so much."
That's funny.
Yeah, it was insane. You would think something that giant would freak people out. I'm telling you, if that happened in LA, how many people would be tweeting about it, freaking out? Oh my gosh, what was that? Like when the that SpaceX thing released a few months ago, people were
Wow.
freaking out.
You're making me feel pretty uneducated here. What was the SpaceX thing?
SpaceX released some kind of rocket, and it looked like this crazy UFO thing. It was I believe it was in the LA area. Oh boy. I want to say less than a year ago.
Hmm.
And it was just this funky thing. If you didn't know what it was and you just happened to look up in the sky, it was this really crazy looking object flying in the sky where a normal person would be like, that's got to be a UFO. What
Yeah.
in the world? What is that thing? What is it? What is it? That there's no I've never seen something like that before. I mean, if you have access to internet at this very second, I
I,
bet
t-
if you
I typed it in. Yeah. I see there's a SpaceX site here.
is there a SpaceX I bet if you Google search like SpaceX Los Angeles
It'll come up.
and then look at the images, you would see some kind of like I mean, I don't know, look like a giant piece of sperm or something floating in the sky.
Los Angeles. Oh, I see it. Yeah, it does look like a giant sperm.
Right? Like I'm not trying to be funny. I mean, we did look
It looks exactly like that. It's not kidding. Google SpaceX Los Angeles, and you will see exactly what he said.
nice. Dude, it is so nice to be redeemed like that, or not to be redeemed to be like, yes, I was right. I kept, so I'm not full of shit. Like you see
No,
it.
it
Okay.
looks exactly like that.
Yeah, there's things to think about, man. Yeah, I think about, like I said, I don't think about biological warfare or biological zombie apocalypse. I think of the stuff like the caldera, like the super volcano. I think of a giant meteor. I don't think a lot of people understand um, the realization that we are going to get hit by a giant meteor. Earth will, whether it's in your lifetime or my lifetime or our grandchildren's lifetime.
Hmm.
Earth is gonna get that again. It's happened time and time again. If you pay close attention to some different news outlets, you're gonna see that meteors are flying by us really closely all the time.
That's crazy to think about.
There was another one in the Ukraine, 20 or 30 years ago. Sure, Chernovsky. Oh,
Chernobyl?
no, that's something different. It was something else, but it wiped out a giant swath of land. And again, it was somewhere in the Ukraine or Soviet Union area, tundra area where we were just happy we're lucky that it hits that, and we're lucky we have a giant ocean that it's going to
Yeah.
catch a lot.
Yeah.
But then you think, okay, so you're a Christian.
Right.
What are your thoughts on Noah's Ark?
I've see, so I think that I've seen evidence of, where it could have been, and all the flooding and stuff, but it's kind of like one of those things where I believe it, but can I communicate that to other people? I don't really know. You know what I mean?
Okay. Um,
What do you think?
so I th- uh there is the flood, the story of
Mhm.
the Bible. There's also the the Gilgamesh, the gosh darn it, what is that? The Gilgamesh. There's another story in another religion
Mhm.
that kind of parrots the same kind of story where there was a giant flood.
Hmm.
And coincidentally, there are a couple of meteorologist impact experts. Uh, Dan Carlin, I believe,
Hmm.
is the gentleman's name. That's very good in asteroidal impact. He's an asteroidal impact expert, if you will. Um, he says with the Gilgamesh and the Noah story, they're about 12,000 years, 10 to 12,000 years ago. He
Hmm.
said, coincidentally, about the same time, there was a giant meteor that crashed into the ocean, which would have caused just insane havoc on the planet. Just gigantic tsunamis that would have wiped out civilizations.
Hmm.
And both of these kind of religions or stories, if you will, are around the same time, but they're from different areas of the world. So they're thinking that these groups got together and told about this story, and it just happens. Hey, at the same time, there was this giant meteor impact that happened.
Right,
So
right.
that's just kind of an idea as far as like human history goes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. I have, man, I would love to know and be able to communicate, in a confident way about some things, but this existence, this world, everything, it's just so beyond me. I don't even know. It's one of those things where I think about, it's like, how do we even tie our shoes in the morning? You know what I mean? Like things are just so much
Yeah,
bigger than like we are. It's just crazy to think about.
it is. I don't know. I'm always looking for other people to relate with me, but just the fascination of the history of man and just what it would like. It's so easy to get wrapped up in this century that we're living in with this technology, with communities that we've developed, and just this whole looking at our cell phones, getting
Hmm.
home and looking at our computer, or sitting on a couch and watching television, getting our meat from the grocery store in a styrofoam package. It's just so strange that we're not meant to do that. We were not. I mean, maybe, and then you can think about, then you can argue, maybe we were meant to do that because here we are. We've started at this other weird spot where we were fighting and scrapping. We were scavengers at one point, just whatever the hyenas or whatever animals were killing things left over, we were eating once they left.
Hmm.
It's just weird. I don't know. I get lost in thinking about the past civilizations where those were the same. They were human beings, like Homo sapiens.
Yeah.
We can't say they were smart. They weren't as smart as us. Like just because we know how to turn an iMac on and hit play and do a podcast, that does not mean I'm smarter than Otzi the Iceman that
No.
was 6,000 years ago living his life.
No, not at all. It was just the time. And if you think about what we said earlier, in my opinion, the way I think about it is I think it's cool that we're to this point. We're going to continue to evolve, and I think life is about evolution. I think life is about growing and evolving our thoughts on life. It's the journey. You know what I mean? It's the journey, man. It really is. And so when it comes down to um for me anyway, thinking about the where life's come, it's like think about where it's going to be in 10 years. Like we're going to be, you
Are you
know
talking like technology wise or?
yeah, yeah, I think we're just going to continue to grow and evolve because it's what we know how to do. So even though like we started off simple, life was easy and whatnot, I think that we're going to remember these old times, but know that, you
Hold on. I gotta piss so bad. I'm gonna piss on stream right now, but it won't be on camera. Sorry.
there you go.
This is a podcast first, everybody.
That's funny.
Hold on. Oh shit! I just turned on some music.
Oh, wow, he's really getting into it, everybody.
Sorry.
He's like, all
Okay.
right, this is my
Sorry. Go. I'm so.
Can you imagine though? Go ahead, do what you got to do. I'm going to talk here. Don't even say anything. So, everybody, can you imagine if like, Like, I was just thinking about this. This is actually kind of funny to me. Like, if every time you pulled up to like a urinal or something like that, like music started playing. Like, because I'm thinking about it now, and maybe somebody in the future is going to figure this out, and they're going to be like, all right, urinal music. This is the thing. I'm going to invent the urinal. When you pee in it, it starts to play a song, or maybe you could just say a song to it, and it plays it. Does it make going into like a public restroom or whatever? Like right now, let's guess. If you're listening to this podcast, our man, real rude over here, he's like, what's he doing? What's he listening to? If I had to guess right now, let me see. P music. I'm gonna go. Oh, ACDC. Hang on a second. ACDC P music. He would be listening to. Oh gosh, Thunderstruck. I think that's his P song, Thunderstruck. What would you want? I'm trying to think about this now. I'm actually, I think I'm going to, yeah, I'm going to try a P song. We're going to have a P song. What would it be? All right. So that's food for thought for everyone. Okay. I need to open my other beer here, by the way. For those of you who missed it earlier, California. Hey, can you imagine how crazy it would be if he was actually listening to Thunderstruck? Like that's the song that came on and I guessed it. That would be insane. I hope I'm excited to hear what it was. Don't tell me that was the song that came on.
I filled up the cup. I can't believe I filled up the cup. I had to stop and run to the bathroom or else I was going to pee all over the floor. I don't know a single word that you said. I don't know what is going on. I that was unbelievable. I thought I could pee. I peed way more than I took in. I don't understand how that happened.
Nice. So we were just hanging out while you were doing that. But I have to probably do the same thing here.
You do your thing. I'll hold down the court real quick. What were you talking about before you left?
Just like P songs. Like I was trying to guess what song came on. I guessed.
Oh, I don't know. Just a random rap song. I turned it off immediately.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, go do your thing. I'll hold court real quick.
Okay, buddy.
Till you guys, I really this is again, it's just like another commercial break. I appreciate if I wonder how many people are actually staying through this entire time. So I kind of describe, if I'm being 100% honest with people when they ask me, "Hey, Ryan, tell me about your podcast. What is it about? What is what just an elevator pitch, if you will, of what exactly is your podcast?" Number one, it is unprofessional as all hell, as you guys have obviously realized, with me just getting drinks and being ridiculous on mic. But no, honestly, you guys, um, I tell people I am a poor man's Joe Rogan or a dumb man's Joe Rogan. I'm like Joe Rogan, but way dumber. So not me personally, but the podcast in general. As you can see, or if this is your first podcast that you've checked out of mine because you're checking out Drew and you want to see his podcast and you want to see the realness of him and see a real good interview with him, I hope you guys are getting it. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I hope this is a real and a different perspective of Drew. This is like some real talk. This is like you get a lot of him on his stream, on his Twitch stream, but I think this just goes a little bit deeper. Like I think you're getting a real insight on where this guy comes from, who he really is. Like you said, like I was really getting in deep to be like, hey man, where did you come from? Where did this start from? And dude, all of this stuff started before he became anybody on Twitch. like all of this. This is like real. This is really him. It's like it's really cool to see something like this. And like it's not bullshit. It's not him coming up with some fake persona to be on Twitch or to be like, "Hey, this is the best version of Drew. This is who I am." No, this is really who he is. And I just think you owe it to yourself to kind of check it out. And I hope you guys are really enjoying learning who he really is, because this is a lot of fun. This is breaking the fourth wall. This is getting behind the scenes, something you're not going to get anywhere else.
Agreed. It's it's pretty cool to get to a point where you're even comfortable sharing your life and your, being vulnerable. I'm to a point where I can share a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? And it's cool, man. And this has been amazing in too many ways to even describe, and what a journey. What a journey, man. This is crazy. Just life. It's just double dragon, baby.
I forgot about. Damn, we bring him back to trouble. You really love that double dragon.
It's such an easy example. When I get into poker coaching sessions, there's like kind of my go-tos. It's like there's a way to communicate to people. You find that thing that they can connect to. Like some people, the top three for me are video games. Like I use the double dragon analogy. That's
Right.
pretty easy. Chess is another analogy that I use.
That's an easy one. Yeah.
That's an easy one. And then another one, what would that third one be? I don't know, like life. Like I've had some female students that I've worked with over the years, and it seems like an easy thing for them to relate to is like family and stuff, that they can draw the strongest connection. And then I just kind of transfer that to poker. And it's pretty neat when you find those connections to people, because then everything just makes so much more sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Um, yeah, I can't imagine. Again, fuck it. Um, so you're invested with this vape company.
mhm.
But I don't think that's like your end all be all goal. I don't think that's your plan. At least what I'm gathering, that's not like your retirement plan. Here I am. I'm gonna be a vape dude for the next 30 years.
Right, right. I honestly don't I don't think so. You know what I mean? Like I think for me that my biggest purpose in life is going to fall around placing myself so I can help other people. So it may be a bunch of different little endeavors here and there, with Twitch there. But yeah, I don't. But then again, I've also been reminded a lot of times in life that I don't know, what's in store. Like I would have
You don't really
never
plan.
guessed.
You don't plan that far ahead, do you? You just kind of
I, you know what? It's kind of like those moments that I had that I told you about earlier. I don't necessarily plan. I'm conscious of the different routes and things that can happen, but I am very open minded to the idea that it's bigger than my plan. This life is bigger than my personal plan. It's kind of like playing poker. It's like going to the table with a specific plan for me anyway. And I'm speaking in the context of what we're talking about, but like, it's kind of like in a poker hand or a table. Like you can't necessarily go in and be like, oh, I'm going to play this strategy. Like I'm going to play tight. I'm going to play aggressive, because when you get to the table, if everybody is playing tight, your strategy should not be to play tight. It should be to play aggressive,
right.
if and vice versa. So I try to take the approach to life where I just need to the biggest hurdle that we can set for ourselves is not being open-minded, in my opinion. That like by not being open-minded, we close too many doors for ourselves. So for me, as far as in relation to your question and the planning, I over the years have got to a point where I really want to make sure that I stay open minded to people's opinions, open minded to life, so that I don't miss out on something. So, as far as maybe my lack of planning in that sense, it's due to my desire to stay open minded, if that makes sense.
Do you have any major goals right now, like where you see your poker career or where you see like your stream going? Like, do you have any like big goals that you have in mind that you want to accomplish?
I haven't set any new goals recently. Like my number one goal in the last 6 months has been since I've physically, well, actually at this point now, it's been almost 10 months. So my biggest goal in the last 10 months has been get healthy mentally, spiritually, financially, get healthy because the last 2 years of my 10-year relationship has been a lot of retail therapy, um, just a lot of like irresponsible money management, um, selfishness, and stupidity. So, like I said, last 10 months, my biggest goal and focus is to get myself back to the place of where, for me, I remember it as I was like my mid 20s, where I remember I lived with four of my buddies. There was five of us in a 3-story place in downtown Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
That
Right.
was that like the highlight of your life?
It was a really cool moment. We went to work. We all worked at the same place somehow, and Enterprise Rent a Car or Finish Line. Everywhere we went, basically.
Finish line shoes.
Yep, yep.
I worked at there a long time ago in Shreveport, Louisiana. I got fired for stealing some shoes.
Exactly. I was in the same thing, and it was funny. Whatever job I went to, like my friends kind of came to as well shortly after. But I remember a time when I was in my mid 20s living with them where I I was such a like carefree, and I'll say it like this, the way I remember it, sarcastic but fun spirit. Like I could find joy and make a joke and make people laugh so easily because I didn't have a care. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like it was smooth. It was smooth sailing. You're the same way, I know.
You and I would have been really good friends back in the day.
Yeah, I know
Not
you're
that
the
we
same
wouldn't
way.
be now, but back, I mean,
Yeah, like you know exactly what I'm talking about, and I already know that about you. So when I think about like all the turmoil and kind of where I traveled to mentally over the last 2 years of like lies and all this other stuff, it going back to my main point, 10 months ago, like for the last 10 months, I've just been focusing on trying to get back to that person where I can be natural and funny and myself. So I forget how we kind of got on this, but oh, goals. He asked about goals and all this stuff. And honestly, I haven't been studying poker the way I have over the last 10 years. I haven't been like necessarily doing certain things that might be advantageous towards my stream, my poker career, and all this stuff because I know that I need to get my mind back in the right space. That's been a huge focus of mine. So I haven't really transitioned past that. If I had to think about right now, some goals, it would. I'm not done with my current goals. Getting healthy financially, spiritually, I would say I'm pretty healthy right now. Mentally, I'm pretty strong right now. Like I might be the strongest I've ever been mentally.
that's amazing to hear.
Right,
That's awesome.
right now. Like I seriously, like, yeah, I just feel like I might be the strongest mentally I've been in years. Spiritually, I feel like I can still grow a little bit. I've peaked, but I'm, still really good. Financially, still a lot of room. Divorces are expensive. Moving across country is expensive. So financially, I still have a lot of room to grow. But you know what? Honestly, I feel like financially is not even like a big thing. That can change really fast.
Yeah, that's gonna come. If you got the two other major hurdles done, I mean, the
Yeah.
financial, that's gonna come for you, man.
Yeah. So I don't think I can do anything I need to do till I'm in my right space. I know you feel me there, and uh, yeah. So that's my only goal right now because I don't think anything else happens until I'm where I need to be mentally and fully, and I'm getting really close.
Do you have any big goals with the stream, or do you think this is like we were talking about the pinnacle or like the plateau? Like this is it, and I'm happy with it, or what are you thinking like stream wise? Do you have
I have
any thoughts on that? Like,
I have a lot of creative ideas and ambitions, but right now I don't have the time because Tuesday through Friday during the day into the evening, I am, at the warehouse working on the vape seasons project, and doing what I can to be helpful there. So I don't have as much time to pursue that, but I have a lot of like visions and ideas that sometimes, it's weird, don't really get an opportunity to come to fruition until later. But as far as I know where the stream can go, if I go to Canada and stuff like that, I know where it can go. I know what would need to happen for certain things to happen. But as far as if I were to stay here in California and stream, I think another big opportunity I could have is if WSOP.com becomes regulated in California. I
That
think
would
that
be huge. That would be a nice little bump for you.
I think that would open.
I still don't believe that's going to open up the market for you as far as Twitch viewership, though. I don't think.
Not huge, not huge. It would be a little like adding on a spare room or something to a house. It would be not that much, but it would be nice. So I'm limited here. The most subs I see some guys who are consistent with their schedule. God's Big Toe is definitely somebody who's just been grinding Twitch and their schedule time, and you could see in his subscribers. But I really think we are during my biggest push. I think American only streamers, we're pretty close to capped at like, let's say
100?
300 to 500 subscribers.
Oh, I was thinking like viewers.
Viewers, as far
Like
as like,
consistent viewers. What do you think? Like 100 is the max?
I think organically
Consistently? Like,
it's going to be around 150, 200. Like Lappy, when he's making deep runs in big tournaments, he's hitting there. When I was making deep runs in big tournaments without hosts and stuff, it's around 150, 200.
but that's dependent on a deep run, yeah? And like late,
Yes.
and that's also kind of not to be, I hope it doesn't sound like I'm shitting on you. I'm just from what
Nah.
I've experienced because I've been around the Twitch game for a minute. It kind of seems like that's kind of more if you make a deep run and late at night when there's less people streaming, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, that's for sure a thing. Like people want to see deep runs. It's just what people want to watch in poker.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
They just want to see that. Like my Goodvibes, the Caliplex, where the virtual hangout that I've built with our community, those are all draws. It's entertainment, but I as entertainment can on Twitch only take you so far. At that point, people want to see in the poker community deep runs, a lot of money on the line, and so it's important to make those deep runs. But yeah, as far as Twitch goals, if I were to go full time with streaming again, I would definitely, goals I would set would be personal, like structure goals, like stream 5 days a week, commit to the schedule. That would be my biggest commitment to Twitch and goals. I would let everything else kind of happen organically. I mean, of course I could say like, oh, I want to get 10,000 followers, I want to get this and that, but for me, that's not as it's I don't know, it's weird, man. Twitch is really weird. You have to really put yourself out there.
You really do. Is there so you're still doing it. Is there a point where you'll be like, you know what, it's just not worth it? Or is there a point where you're like, you know what, it is worth it to do all the time? Like, what is that kind of point for you, you think?
I know for me that I'm never gonna completely get away from Twitch. I'm never gonna do it because Twitch is my way to connect with people all over the world, without having to do anything. And if my goals in life are to spread good vibes, positivity, be a positive influence, and reach people, expand my reach to like inspire people. You've said that a couple times, right? And that's very fulfilling for me every time I hear something like that, and I can tell there's like a genuine reaction to my positivity and the way that I choose to live my life. Like that fills my tank, and that's something I'm never going to get sick of. So I need Twitch as much as people on Twitch might need me.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's beautiful. Yeah.
So I'm never going to, and I say that now, but as long as my priorities and my spirit is aligned, why would I ever give up on something that's given me so much? Now, the frequency of it is of course going to vary depending on what's going on in my life. But if, let's say, I didn't need to stream to make money and I didn't need to work or report anywhere, let's say I'm just out on a beach somewhere doing whatever, like I want to share that with people. I want to make myself available if people need something. Like you would, maybe you wouldn't, but there has been a reasonable, let's say, amount of people who have reached out to me due to the stream. They're like, hey, your stream helps me to avoid bad thoughts. Hey, you have helped me get through a dark time, or you've helped me get through a difficult time, or whatever the case may be. Or, hey, can you pray for me? Something like that, you know? And there's been so many people who I've just made myself available to through streaming that I feel like just at the right times, I've given them just a little bit of fuel in their tank, you know, just to get to the next destination. So the next positive influence can come along, or they can be that next positive influence.
What is it like? I like so probably so you're probably one of the biggest American Twitch poker streamers, right?
One of, yeah,
Like
yeah.
who's with you in your league that you would say?
That streams regularly in only American sites when Lappy's on. He's moved to Vegas recently, so his streaming schedule has been a bit choppy.
People
But
watch him to hate on him. People don't actually like that guy.
well, yeah, there's definitely he draws a very interesting
Yeah.
frequency of people. Like I know for sure, you know, and he knows that too. He knows that too. Lappy and I talk a bit. He's a friend for sure. But that's funny because he knows, he's conscious of it. But him, uh, and past that, American streamers right now, like God's Big Toe is starting to grow a following, but I'm gonna try to put some filters on this just for the kind of the conversation. But like people that I've seen average or have an average of over 100 some viewers at a time, you know, like I've had an average of up to, I think the highest I've had is like an average of 140 viewers at one point, you know,
Nice.
an
Yeah.
average. And I know Lappy's been up around there. Jay Smith has been up around there as far as American streamers go. Snosty, I think, was definitely over 100 average viewers at a time. Snost and Lost.
Right.
As far as pure American streamers, John Blaze, he's been up there. He's been making some deep runs. He's been able to eclipse the average 100 viewers mark, which I think is a nice thing
Right.
to.
I'm just kind of asking like you would admit that you are one of the top American streamers though, correct? Like you recognize about yourself. I mean, you admitting it isn't like an ego thing. I'm telling you, like you are one of the top American poker streamers on Twitch, right?
Yes, I feel like I do put out that type of content. Yes.
Right. Well, the numbers, numerically speaking,
Uh-huh.
that's a correct statement.
Yeah.
What does that give you any kind of pride, any kind of ego? Are you kind of like you kind of walk around like an extra bounce in your step? What's up, baby? I'm the king of American poker's Twitch streamers. Like, what is that? What's it feel like to be like the number one poker Twitch streamer? I mean, it's something. It's not huge. Like, it's not a huge deal, but it's kind of it's something.
Relatively speaking, yes. You know, it's it's cool to, I guess, and the competitive side of me, probably the biggest part that connects is the competitive side. You know, you see, like I know in moments, like especially when I was making my push towards partnership, it's like there's competition, but that competition, they're also your friends, you know what I mean, in a sense.
Right.
So
Yeah. It's a poker and poker's like that,
yeah, poker is like that. And poker is interesting, but as far as how it feels, it feels very, I feel very fortunate. I feel very honored, and I feel very lucky too to have hit certain milestones and to have even be considered to be a top anything. You know what I mean? It's all very just like, it's nice, it's motivating, and it makes us feel like, okay, we're doing something right. But I don't know, the way my brain works, I just always know that there's more. You know what I mean? Like, I guess I'm not that I'm not satisfied with that, everything that you're describing, but I just know that it doesn't end here. Do you know what I mean? Like, I hope, like, as everything that you're saying, I hope that I can replicate that and continue to replicate it. I almost get anxiety thinking about it. Like, I hope that I can continue to be what people think I am or know me to be. Like, I just hope, man. I just hope that I can continue to do everything and be who you say to people and think I am. I just hope, you
How
know?
big, say you got what when you're like fantasizing all by yourself,
Right, right.
all alone. I fantasize all the
I was all by
freaking time,
myself.
bro.
Yeah.
I do. I'm not gonna lie, I fantasize. What do you fantasize happening with your stream? Like wildest fantasies, like what is like, you know,
Wildest fantasy I would say would be to be like not Jay Carver. I would say for me, it feels like Lex would be my kind of like Lex is like real. He's
that's really
relatable.
reasonable. That's a reasonable dream.
Yeah, like I would, you know what I mean? Like it would be incredibly difficult for me in the States to get to that point. But in the sense that you're saying, if I had like that would be cool because you know what? Something about Lex too is Lex has created a community that is very very cool. There's some toxicity which is going to happen. That's a numbers game, but you could tell like when he gets donations and things like that, the fact that he's been able to kind of bridge a gap to where somebody says F you and it means I love you. You know what I mean? I don't know how much you've watched his stream,
Yeah,
but people,
I like Lex a lot. Yeah.
yeah, like the whole like I think that's and it might be weird for some people, me being um closest the best way to describe me is a Christian, you know what I mean? Like it's very cool that he's been able to bridge a gap there. And I think that if I had to aspire to be someone on the Twitch streets and have a dream, it would be to be him. And that doesn't take anything away from any of the bosses out there that are streaming on Twitch, the Staples brothers, Pav, Buelhero, I don't know,
Nobody's gonna. First of all,
all those guys,
nobody's
they're
gonna
great.
listen to this. Second of all, you don't. They're not gonna take any offense to you saying you want to be. You dream of being Lex Veldhuis
For
is level.
sure.
Like they understand.
I just want to acknowledge them on the way
Hey,
because if I were to be, it would have to,
no, no.
you
Look, fuck them. Fuck them. Those Twitch streamers ain't shit, and you're way better content than them. Jamie Staples, that dude is ridiculous. I used to watch his shit. That guy is so freaking professional. And I told him that one day. I like I've been a Staples fan since before he was like a big dude. Like when he would just
Mhm.
have maybe a couple hundred in there, and he would actually, whatever. One day it was after a while, and he just is like he's very vanilla, um, very vanilla, very buttoned down. Like
I know what you mean.
I own Walmart. This is my store. And by golly, we're gonna run things right around here and not gonna offend a single person.
Mhm.
And it's just very fake to me, it seems sometimes. And I told him one day, I was like, man, you've become really professional, like on like not like an impersonal way where you're like more professional than you are personal. And he goes, oh, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate
I
not a compliment, man. Like I want to see real people. I don't want to see some like made for TV kind
mhm.
of dude. And that's what I think Jamie Staples is. I really think, man, like I don't know, maybe it's because I have a biased opinion of you, and I've been watching you. I've been watching you for I've been
Mhm.
watching you since quite a while. I think if you did have that world schedule, if you're on Poker Stars, I think you could be right up there with Staples. I think you could easily be Lex's counterpart. I think you could easily match with him. Like, I'm not just BSing you. I really think you could challenge Staples easily.
I appreciate that. And yeah, I think I could give them those guys, you know, a run. Um, in some senses, it would be fun. It would be really fun to watch, and I would, if I was in a position to commit full time to my
Yeah. Oh,
content
look,
creation.
I'm not suggesting quit your all of
No,
a
no, no.
sudden this new thing and go do that. I'm just saying
I'm
as a
saying I totally. All I'm saying is I totally feel you, and it would be an exciting thing to see. You know what we could do. I would put my best foot forward, and I would give them my best without a
right. Well, I hope you really think hard about that idea of going to either Mexico or Canada and doing one of those online events and streaming it. I think that would be a really good test and it would kind of give you a good gauge of
yeah.
maybe what you could do. I don't know.
Hey, I think it'd be awesome, and I am really close to Mexico. Like I'm gonna, like I said, I wrote it down. I'm gonna actually look into it. I think that would be a super fun idea.
I might have a dude that could hook you up. All can talk about if you don't have anybody that could do something like that. I might know a person.
Okay, cool, cool.
So I this has gone. I told you asked earlier. You cracked me up so hard. We were texting before the podcast, setting it up and everything, and he goes, "How long are you expecting?" And I said, "Well, how long do you got?" And he goes, "Did you just check raise me?" I cracked up so hard. Yes, and I said an hour, and I said,
How long have we been?
Dude, I could not tell you. I'm not keeping track. I'm just telling you. I told him I will set a timer because I don't want to take any of your time. You are a super busy dude. We've been over an hour. I promise you that. So
It's been really good. It's been really
I I cannot tell you how much I appreciate this. This was a lot of fun. I wish you nothing but success. I can't wait to see more big things happen from you. I hope we continue to stay in touch.
for sure, for sure.
Drew, I love you, man. You're number one in my book.
Love you
I
too, buddy.
again, thank you so much. If go ahead and go ahead and tell everybody the best way to find you, pimp whatever you want to pimp right now. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
All right, everybody. How much time you got? All
We
right.
got all day, baby.
No, so check it out. The ways you can find me, I'm primarily on Twitter and Instagram. It's BetOnDrew, BetOndrew. Okay. And I stream on twitch.tv slash, you guessed it, BetOnDrew. So those are my three main avenues. And I tweet a lot. We've been really pimping, going for an Instagrammy. We've put out like 150 posts in the last 2 months, so I feel like that's a lot, good amount, maybe not, but you know we're on there, and then we're streaming when we are not working Tuesday through Friday. So basically, sometimes Friday night, but pretty much Saturday, Sunday, Monday, you can find us on stream, and that's pretty much it. Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, if you want to catch up, and my cell phone and my social. Hang on, let me get it.
Also, you are available for coaching still or no?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm still welcoming that. You can go to pocketfives.com/coaches/Drew, PEACOQ, and then the number 8. That's
There it
my
is.
where it is.
If you guys want to learn how to be a really good poker player and start out, there it is. Get some lessons. At least follow him on Instagram. Check him out on Twitch, like I said earlier. Drew, my brother, I cannot tell you again how much I appreciate this. This was just I'm speechless. Thank you
Thank you,
so
brother.
much. Um, Everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. However, you got this, please subscribe on YouTube or the podcast apps. It goes a long way. Thank you, everybody. Drew, have a good night, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Make sure you follow Good Vibes.